just explode. The company that his son worked for, that's where it was.
You'll be able to get another good job.
Free health care for illegal... Look. Yosemite.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
Ahem. Whack-a-dack-a-dack-a-doo.
Michigan gave us Motang.
De-engineering.
Motown gave us the Mustang.
Don't touch my hands because they're dirty.
You have the ocean and you have the sun. There's something about that that works.
Asshole. All right, here we go. So much to cover. Oh boy. All right. I don't even know. All right. God damn it. Here we go. Let's start the show because one of these days I'm gonna have like a music fade out on my thing so that the music kind of transitions. But right now, not so much. Okay. Hi. Welcome. It's Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. You have heard correctly. I am the establishment. I am the Democratic machine. I'm everything they've warned you about. That's right. I'm a corporate dem because technically I'm incorporated, as are most people who sell on Etsy and eBay, as are hundreds of millions of people, and some people 8 or 10 times, or in the case of Donald Trump, 1,500 times. I'm a corporal dem. Yes, I'm very gropey in that regard. I suppose it's the meat and gropes. They just get to you eventually. Anyways, so if you've heard about the establishment, you've heard about me. If you've heard about the deep state, yeah, I am the deep state. I may not hit bottom, but I'll scrape the shit out of the sides, and that's gotta matter to somebody. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Patreon.com/HalSparks. You can do it by the month and go and give up after 3 months and go, fuck this dude. Or you can do it annually if you've been around long enough and you're like, I trust him. He's doing his best. He's trying to keep us entertained and informed better than anyone. And on a shoestring, no less. I'm literally standing on a shoestring. My shoes are untied. I'm kidding. Spark, choose page. Did you turn it down? How did they choose Patrick Dempsey over? I don't know. So there we go. Yes. Then who is Antifa? I'm not Antifa. I'm sorry. I'm anti-fascist, but I don't KFC my deep convictions. I don't come up with cute little adorable nicknames. Bro, I'm not anti-fascist. I'm anti-fa. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't have time. I'm so busy fighting like fascists that I don't even have time to like say the whole word. And of course, if I say fascist, then I have to come to terms with what that word actually means. And I might realize that as somebody who considers themselves anti-fa, that I might be actually proto-fascist. I just think fascism should go my way, and therefore better to not say the whole word. That'll work. I'm just saying. All right. Best not to hit bottom. Well, it's debatable. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell. Hey, Hype Train and Marsha Springer has liked the stream. Follow her lead. Like the stream. Give it a like. Give it a thumbs up. Make it worth it that I shut down the little chime. And by the way, I want to thank Boston Brian for coming on for our special afternoon show. If you didn't get a chance to check that out because the timing threw you off, it will be available. You can go back and watch. It's on the channel, but also it'll be part of the podcast as well, because I'm taking the guest parts of the shows and adding them to my podcast playlist, and poof, they show up on your favorite podcasting platforms. It's the Hal Sparks Podcast Megaworldwide, and that's cool. I never wanted a podcast. I like being a professional streamer. God damn it! But you gotta make that. You gotta make hay while the sun shines. Speaking of where the sun doesn't shine, hello chat room. How are you, you lovely people? It's fantastic. Oh, thanks. I says 1971. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Yes, follow Can't Stop Lions. They get. I'm just saying it's a good Christmas gift. Is Tara Dublin's book. Just saying. Some people, because I've been in the movies and the television, even though my entire union just got off strike and God knows when production will be back up and new shows will be pitched and new shit will actually start. So even if I wanted a new series, won't happen till late next year. So I'm here fucking digging a hole and filling it in intellectually, dealing with Donald Trump and the like, that some people are like, well, because I've seen you on the TV, you must be doing this for free, and therefore I'm not going to help the show or super chat it because fuck you. That's fine. It really is. If you're just here to watch, I'm cool. I only want people to like give to the show or support the show that can do it without any fretting or any worry whatsoever. I want it to be a thing like, hey, I can help this guy. This is cool. No more stress. If it goes above that stress level, I don't want you to do it because it's just not. To me it stops being a service. That said, if you don't mind stressing out and you want to do something supportive, but you're still in the sort of fuck that guy zone, I suggest a Wild Horse Ranch Rescue. Just make a donation in my name to them. Just go, hey, Al Sparks told me about you guys, Wild Horse Ranch Rescue. They're good people. They save American wild horses and police and military horses that are going to be turned into dog food or glue. And they're a very good charity, and they operate out of Arizona, and they're just lovely people. And I've been supporting them for a long time, and you should too. How about that? Or you could buy Tara's book. See what I mean? You could do that shit. If that's the way maggots, like trolls, you're here, you're taking up space in the interwebs, and you're like, I'm not gonna give this guy any fucking money. But he gives me something to do, and it's better if he goes off the air, then I got to go back to, giving Russell Brand a rusty trombone, and I don't want to do that with my time. Fuck. So, all right, I'll do something. Do it by Tara's book. Or, nah, you don't read. But give to Wild Horse Ranch Rescue, because at least, you're supporting a charity. You don't even have to, it's not even a dog or a cat charity where you can, have to pretend you like pets. It's good. Anyways, there you go. How would you ever have David Pakman on? Sure, I'd have David Pakman on. I don't know that he would. I think my channel's too small. It's for him to give a shit about it. I don't know. Ask him to have me on, because we'll dual live stream it, something like that. Now, I have to show you. So, along with the clips that I deal with on the regular, and Can't Stop Lying, big round of applause for him for digging up some of the clips that you see. The vast majority of them, because it's very difficult for me to find clips to talk about on the show that I haven't watched all the way through already. And I don't want to, like I said, I'm not here to dunk on people. I'm here to respond to the messaging and fact check live and do it with some charm. In the meantime, though, in and amongst the stuff that he puts in there, I will say, Hal Decaf, I have not had any coffee today. I'll have you know, I'm just excited to see you. I'm like it's not caffeine. It's that mentally, I'm like a dog waiting to be let out of a car when I'm doing this show. Because I have so much to talk about, I'm never going to be able to fit it in. And especially when you distract me with the whole settle down storyline. All right, now, God damn it. In and amongst the clips, occasionally, he'll throw me a curveball and throw in some document or story that the right is talking about or that came up. That is just either funny or ridiculous or fucked up or something. Anyways, this is all the above. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Trumpinator Christmas tree ornament that is for sale. This is a real thing. Now, it's from a website. I'm not going to show you because I'm not even going to help somebody buy this fucking thing. Although, for the record, this is yet another thing Donald Trump is not making any money off of. And Chip was in here a minute ago when I have cat hair all over me. Wait. So Donald, I'll show it to you in a second. This item is pre-order and it's not expected to ship until around December. That's because it's made in China. And they ordered them ahead, they're going to take your money before they even order any. Okay. So, I would like to show this to you. And when it came up in my feed, I swear to God, but for the, I suppose, sawed-off shotgun gun that's in it is part of the Trumpinator idea. And this is make Christmas great again, blah, blah, blah. One of the upsides of this, one of the many upsides of this thing is that Donald Trump is not making a fucking dime off of it. So I gotta say, I'm always excited when some idiot puts out some Trump sycophant t-shirt or bobblehead or whatever the fuck. And I just know that Trump is just fucking grinding about it. Yeah. I just love that part of it. So I like it when maggots buy these things because I know that money is not going to anyone. I have half a mind to put out my own Trump ornament just to bilk these motherfuckers, you know, with some random ornament, you know, like him on a fucking eagle eating a donut or whatever the shit, right? And just selling one, right? Just get one made in China. Just do everything wrong and make a shit ton of money, and he doesn't make a goddamn dime. And the friggin' margin, the margin on it, yeah, we'll look at the price of it. It's fucking stupid. Let me show you something else that's weird about this. Swear to fucking God, CSL, when I saw this in the feed, when I saw this come through, this is it, by the way. That's it. It's just nipples up. That's it. And his head's gigantic, and his hands are tiny. It's pretty close to reality. This is supposed to be the sawed-off shotgun from Terminator 2, but it's like pistol size, but with a long barrel. It looks like he's holding an old Wild West handgun, like a revolver. It's fucking dumb. Also, the shittier version of it, like version 1 that's on the tree with his like droopy mouth and shit chin, they fixed for the next version. You could tell they made multiple versions and hand painted these fuckers because these are like, they got whatever company is printing these fucking things, they dumped them out, right? And they made versions of, and it's got this Trumpinator across the fucking front, which is just fucked up. Yeah, his hands are actual size. That is true. But here's the thing. I gotta be honest. Without the writing here, when I first saw this, I thought this was a Dark Brandon thing. Like, because it, you know, it's not the biggest thing on my screen, and I have a bunch of screens going on at one time. And when it showed up in the thing, because his hair is white, I was like, is that a fucking Joe Biden? Because all I saw was the sunglasses and the hat, and the type was too small to read, and I didn't see this shit in the original version when I slid it up. So I was like, that just looks like a Dark Brandon fucking thing. And I was like, I want that. And then it turned out to be this fucking Trump thing. And then there's this weird thing where he looks like his face is melting, like in this version of it. They also do, and I don't know why, the busted lens with the red eye from the first movie in this. It's just dumb. Anyways. But they are, look at the price of these. One of them costs you $14.99. You save $5 because if you buy now. 3 of them, which is their most popular version of this, $50, $44.97. And 5 of them for $74.95. I mean, if you have 3 friends and a wife that's mad, you're covered for Christmas, man. You hand this motherfucker out and you're done. And by the way, this is my favorite part of the whole fucking thing. See this little text down here? See that? See this part? Let me, if you can't read the fine print, let me introduce you to the fine print. All right. Proud Patriots has no affiliation with President Donald Trump or his presidential re-election campaign. We're an independent private company that believes in keeping America great. This site is not a part of the Facebook website or Facebook Inc., nor is it part of Google or Google Incorporated. Additionally, this site is not endorsed by Facebook or Google in any way. Facebook is a trademark of Facebook. Google is a trademark of Google Inc. Trump is a fucking trademark of dumbasses everywhere. I just love it. It's a worthless clause. That's exactly right. And I would argue that's what this fuck Trumpinator. I give you the worthless clause. This should be Donald Trump holding a piece of paper that says he's full of shit. His little thing. I'm the worthless clause. I come down your chimney and I leave you saddled with $9 billion in debt. I add a third more debt to your debt. It's sort of a Grinch thing, but I am the worthless clause. Am I going to buy one? Fuck no, I'm not going to buy one of these stupid things. Saw everything I hoped you would. Ain't it just so it is so choice, CSL. It is so fucking choice. It's a gun in his hand. And I can't tell from this angle, but I think it's supposed to be the shotgun. But it's a long, I don't know. Look how small his fucking hand is in this one. Jesus Christ. These things are ass. Why don't you just make the fucking head? I don't know Why do you want somebody carrying a gun on your goddamn Christmas tree? He's going to shoot Jesus. What are you thinking? Claim this Trumpinator Christmas ornament. Claim it? Motherfucker, you have to buy it. It isn't free. Pre-orders currently available for a limited time. Oh, it's so choice. It's so, yes. So, Worthless Claus. I got to get to that one before Randy Rainbow gets to it. Yeah. Worthless Claus is coming to town. He knows if you are broke. He knows what your taxes should be. I don't know, we'll work it out. Donald Trump Dumpinator is the Worthless Claus. This is Christmas from Tycho. Yeah. Oh my God. So anyways, welcome to the show. Like, subscribe. Okay, so now let's be abundantly clear. I just find this first one. Where is it? Because some of this shit is like unbelievable. Oh wait, hold on. It's the Joey Pags one. I think I'm going to go to first. So Joey Pags, I think either he plays a clip of. I don't pre-watch this shit because I don't need to torture myself. I'm just doing a fucking show. But Joey Pags was talking about the fact that Chip Roy apparently called MAGA people motherfuckers. Hold on, because I didn't pull it out first. It will. That's what. Yeah. So much stuff. Just so much fucking stuff. Okay, yeah, so it's way back here because there's so much stuff today. Good Lord. Yeah, here it is. Hold on, is that the one? He didn't hold back or whatever. I think this is the one. Yeah, that's what here it is. Okay, so this is how well it's going over in Republico land, ladies and gentlemen. Did Chip Roy call MAGA Republicans motherfuckers? He didn't hold back recently and tells how long it will take to fix the border. That's the subtitle of this one. This is Joey Pags of the Pennsylvania Paggots, and he's MAGA Paggot Maggot, whatever. We'll figure it out. Did Chip Roy call MAGA Republicans motherfuckers? Ha 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 ha. I don't know. Like, this is just awesome. Okay, here we go. So, here we go. I haven't watched this. God knows. What a bunch of dumbasses. Here we go.
Great to have you along for the ride. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Glad to have this man back. He is my U.S. representative, my district. It is Chip Roy. Chip, how are you? Good to see you.
How are you after your tremendous losses and how all of your messaging ate ass and Donald Trump was in court again and fucked himself into a cocked hat and his daughter basically painted him into a corner and your entire messaging around abortion and voting was responsible for every loss you had across the country. How's it going?
Good, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I wanted to...
He looks happy. Good. How are you?
Start with the election from last night, but first, let me...
Yeah, start with that.
Clear the air, because I go to these X spaces, and I've actually texted you. Well,
I go to these X spaces. Okay, X spaces, for those you don't know, are just like... They're like radio chat rooms from the mid-90s or something. They're just talking spaces on X, and they're, quite frankly, death traps of racism and shit. Don't interrupt so much. I have to for legal reasons. Fair use, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm in some of these, and they seem to think that
you're an asshole.
You're calling anybody who supports Donald Trump an MFer at some point. I only remember
that wasn't a head shake. No, not at all.
Why you were angry that day, but
gee, I can't imagine all the losses or the fact that they're immovable or that now you've got a speaker who has to explain his 40-year-old not adopted son with a criminal record to everyone and might be closeted and has some sort of porn app thing with his son, and that's the messaging you have to deal with while you're trying to carve the fucking country up. I can't imagine.
It wasn't about those of us who support Trump, was it?
Yeah, fuck you. You're a motherfucker, Joey Pags. That's what he's saying.
Now, I'll tell you exactly why I was angry. I mean, first of all, but we should get together in Horsefest. I was there this last weekend having a beer and
Oh,
sausage
man.
with my dad.
Where are you now? You were there having a beer and a sausage with your dad? That's the kind of bonding I could only dream of, I guess. A beer and a sausage. Just were you at the fairgrounds or?
Oh, yeah.
That's good living.
That's good living.
But here's the thing. I'll tell you exactly why I was angry. Because there were people who were calling into my office and harassing members of my staff.
What? That's terrible. No. They were. When did that shit start? Well, I can't imagine. I certainly hope these people, and you know why it's upsetting? It's because if they're calling in and harassing your staff, they can't do what they normally do, which is calling in Democrats and other people's staff and harassing them. We'll just file this under taste of your own fucking medicine, you dipshit.
Over matters that were frankly completely out of bounds because somebody had put something out there that was totally untrue about me supporting Ukraine because I had simply said in an interview that maybe, just maybe, if Ukraine is funded, we should get our border secured first.
Yes.
That was all I said.
And I defended you on that. I knew that you were misrepresented.
Yeah, you were totally misrepresented. We know you love Putin and Russia, and you hope that he, after he's finished murdering and raping and slaughtering everyone in Ukraine, that he moves on to Poland and Germany. And, you know, when we get back into a World War III that's much closer to World War II, and then he fucks up the Georgians, and Jesus Christ, the Armenians are going to be fucked, right? I can't wait till you get to I can see why you would side with him, you know, in that situation. So no, nobody believes you. You want to support Ukraine? That would be awful. They're the innocent victims in this. That would be completely off-brand for the Republican Party.
But go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Anyway.
And then a whole bunch of people, including people that I know, that were putting that out. And then my office was getting harassed by, frankly, a lot of people out there.
The kind of people you sick on other people? Okay.
Who are MAGA influencers out there in the Twitterverse and out there who fancy.
MAGA influencers out there in the Twitterverse eating their own. It's sad. Come on. Hold on. There's got to be something in here that something that gets the thought across that what is this? Yeah, that would be it. That would be, boo fuckity who.
Themselves really important, not constituents that are sitting in my district that wanted to call and say, hey, Congressman Roy, can you help me or explain some position?
Can you explain something? Can you put down that sausage for 1 fucking second?
But people that are harassing people that I hire who are
the irony. Seriously, you guys, the irony of this motherfucker. Just blind to the fact that all they do all fucking day is sick these assholes on everybody else. They get a minor taste of their own medicine because of a misunderstanding, and this motherfucker is like, oh, Joey Pegs, can you please have me on your show? I need to walk through this. Oh dear, yes, I'm Joey Pegs. We need to tell these MAGA influencers in the Twitterverse to stop doing this. This is a terrible thing.
Good people,
fuck up.
And they were being rude, and I was...
What? Wait a minute. Rude? Rude? That's all you got? We all get death threats. You just get rude? I would ask for a refund, my friend.
Frankly, I'm over it, and I'm over it now. It's not that I was just mad one day. No.
Yeah.
I'm always mad. I'm like the impotent Hulk who doesn't help and will never mix with my banner side to be smart and strong and is useless. And I'm angry all the time just for no particular purpose.
You don't get to do that, all right?
Yeah, they do. Guess what? They're going to keep doing it, dumb fuck.
You want to call my office, you call respectfully, you've got a question about an issue, I owe...
Hi, I have a message for Mr. Chip Roy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be respectful, but I have it's about something that I don't know if there's an additive in the food in the air. I ate at a local restaurant. Okay, to be completely frank, I had a sausage at Horsefest, and I'm not completely convinced it was a sausage. your dad came up to me and said, "Try the sausage," and he was eating one that was different than the one I bought at the thing. The one he ate was still attached to the horse. Anyways, respectfully, click.
That to my constituents. You some influencer around the country, pound sand, dude. Don't care what you think.
Yeah, I don't care about fucking MAGA influencers. Fuck you. Fuck you, MAGA. You think this is how this asshole thought things would be going at this stage of the race? Can we just wafting, and we're wafting? Oh, God. Yeah, fuck you, MAGA influencer, YouTuber, Twitterverse person who likes Trump. Fuck you. Notice, by the way, that he never denied calling them motherfuckers.
Gotcha.
All right, you guys are still stuck on the sausage he was eating was still attached to the horse. Is that the line that got you in the chat room? Is that what it was? Sorry. I'm improvising. I'm not completely responsible for what I say because in those moments when I'm in character, I always yes and the thought so that I can get to the next thing. That's just, blame Second City. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what that was all about, but of course.
It was about him calling you a motherfucker, dum-dum. You're a MAGA influencer. He meant you. Fuck off.
The video went viral because your language was salty, which is fine.
Salty. Not as salty as the sausage he had with his dad.
Fine. And I didn't get it, and people were like, he's calling you that, Pags. I'm like, Chip Roy isn't.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Calling me that for sure.
No, not at
He's not calling me that for sure. I have a real radio show that's on like 3 stations. He meant people who are only on Rumble.
all. And look, I want to be very clear about that.
Fuck you.
I support President Trump. I support him if he's the nominee. I've said that repeatedly. Yes, I'm friends with Governor DeSantis.
Yeah.
I will be, going around and spinning tonight and talking to the press during the debate about that.
Oh, so Chip Roy is a spin outreach person for fucking DeSantis? Really? Well, my goodness me. Hold on one second. I'm trying to. Why does this fucking camera not want to be? Why? What's wrong with you? What's the matter with you? All I want is my. Yeah, I've got to. Maybe I have to close it and reopen it. Anyways, I can't do any of my character cameras because it's being a dick. The Insta360 thinks it's all proud. What's you doing? Why would you do that? It's aggravating me. You're just gonna have to deal with my regular face.
Proudly so. A primary is a good thing. These people that are saying, "Oh, we don't need to do a primary."
Yeah. These people, we don't need to do a primary. Just run Trump. And if anybody, Chip Roy should be the guy. He should be, listen to him. He knows that you don't, of course you need a primary. It just makes Trump stronger.
No, that's not the way our system works. Go earn it. We'll get a nominee, and then we'll go out and win next
Yeah, especially if you don't already have someone in the presidency. Why don't you? Oh, right. You lost. That's right.
year with whoever we get as the nominee. But we've got to do our job right now. And my job is to go fight for the people that I represent and not go listen to some random Twitter influencers.
Yes, it's District 21 Republican, great state of Texas.
Don't fucking dox him, Joey. Jesus, man.
Chip Roy. Chip, I hadn't talked to you since.
Chip, MAGAs are motherfuckers, Roy. That's his new name. You memorize it.
You happy with Mike Johnson as the speaker?
Sure. So Mike's a good friend. I've known him for a long time. He's a very good man, good husband, good father. He's a
Is he real quick on your porn policing app? Is he on your list of people that get, if you find? I just want to know like how close you guys are.
Constitutional conservative. He is from Northwest Louisiana. My mom grew up in a small town when she was a kid in the district.
The fuck does that have to do with it?
That he represents?
You mean the district with like some of the shittiest education standards in the fucking country?
And I'm going to go visit Mike. I'm skipping a meeting with Mike right now. When you and I are done, I'm going to go meet with Mike.
Nice.
To go talk about where we're going next. Look, it's a tough job. We got a lot of work to do.
Well, it's cognitively very, very challenging, and I can understand why you and yours might find that work, what's the word, hard.
And I'm not going to give Mike a hall pass any more than I would have given Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Just go over, tell him to meet him, call him a MAGA motherfucker, and go, hey, you're in a good group of people. It's you and the Rumble people.
Yeah.
We need to cut spending. We need to secure the border of the United States.
We need to get way more Republicans elected before anybody has to take us seriously at all, or we need to shut the fuck up and keep the function of the country going. That too, I suppose.
To hold the line on Ukraine, either no more funding, or if there is funding, you got to secure the border.
There is funding. There's going to be funding. There is no line. You don't have a line to hold. What's the line you're holding? Russia's? Avdiivka, you dopey motherfucker.
There are things that we need to execute, and we're going to go talk about doing that.
There are things we need to execute, like Ukrainian children. Because
right now, and he's got a tough job with a thin majority, and you've got a recalcitrant
really
Senate with Senate Republicans who are more interested in going after Tommy Tuberville than they are in actually doing their work to secure.
No, Tommy Tuberville is just stopping them from doing their work. He's literally hamstringing the fucking military in a pissing contest.
Secure the border and helping the House do our job. So
yeah, it's not up to senators to help you do your fucking job. If you don't have the votes to pass something, it's your ass.
We're going to have to go hold the Senate accountable and then push Biden to do the right thing. And hopefully Mike will do that, and we'll go work with him to try.
Why won't my why can't I hold on? It won't even turn on, will it? Nope. God damn it. I've never wanted to be salty cupcake so much in my fucking life. Say hopefully again, motherfucker. Say hopefully again.
Hopefully in your meeting with the speaker.
Oh, you fucking say hopefully again.
You can do two things for me. I'm sure that you've already asked him about the first one, the January 6 tapes. We want them.
Yeah.
We want to see them now. Not at some terminal that Tucker Carlson's people can go look at. They should be released. We own them. I'm not really sure why.
No, you don't, dumbass. Because there are elements of those tapes that show secret areas where certain doors that look like they go someplace normal fucking don't. They've changed the pathways and the markings on doors so that in the case of a violent incursion like this, or a 9/11 situation, the Congress people and the Senate and their staff and everybody has places they can go to be fucking safe, and showing those fucking scenes on television would let people know, hey, that's interesting. If you watch where Mike Pence goes and you just follow these tapes, shit, you can see exactly where he goes and kill him next time. No, you dumb motherfucker. You don't get to see the security tapes of any public building or government-held building. You don't get to see the inside security tapes of the fucking FBI that runs every fucking day. You don't get to see the fucking hallways of the White House. There's no fucking reason.
They're not being released. And the second thing, tell him to come on my show. What's the problem?
I'll be happy to tell Mike to come on the show, and I'm sure he'd love to. I'm serious. I'm sure
Yeah, I don't think so.
he'll do that. On the first point, I do not want to get in front of the speaker, but let me just tell you that I know where the speaker's heart and where he's committed to doing on that, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be pleased. But let me leave it at that until he gets the chance.
Pretty sure. Hopefully. Yeah. That's leadership. I mean, that right there.
Chance to act here shortly.
You've always been an amazing champion for our tax dollars and stopping the out-of-control spending.
No, he's trying to gut the head start that the blue states have because of federal spending, because Texas, by being assholes, have turned down a lot of that funding to the detriment of the children that grow up there over the years and is left behind in a pit of their own digging. And so he's trying to level that shit out. And he's like, if our kids are going to be dumbasses, we want all those other kids to be dumbasses too. It doesn't work that way.
As you and I have talked about, Kevin McCarthy did get rolled by, I believe, I'll use that terminology, Joe Biden when it came to the debt ceiling.
Yep.
Yeah. Old doddering fool who can't put a sentence together, doesn't know how to walk off a stage, and yet he was able to roll Mike McCarthy. Roll his nuts right over Mike McCarthy's forehead. He also bounced him off of Matt Gaetz's on his way out the door and made Matt Gaetz collapse any chance that Republicans retain the House next year, because all you motherfuckers get to run on is chaos in a chaotic world. What kind of an asshole will vote for people who go, you know, now's the time to fucking tighten our belts and stop supporting education and infrastructure and all that shit in the country and protecting ourselves against possible infectious diseases. This is the time to stop all that shit because we got a lot of spare time. You know, we're not dealing with anything outside the country, so.
And you educated me on this. He basically gave him an open debt ceiling, indefinite debt ceiling, until March of 2025, after the next presidential election.
Yeah, but he had to get anything these dickheads wanted, and if he didn't get those little things that these assholes asked for, he wouldn't have had to do that to secure it. It's their fucking fault. Chip Roy, Matt Gaetz, all these assholes who forced McCarthy to give them these special concessions and put him on these fucking committees. They're why he had to give that part away to get some shit for them. As pitiful and useless as that shit was.
Election, that's not okay. So what can you do in the meantime? That's already
nothing.
Like on the books. How can you ever pull back spending before March of 25? Can you?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, that is an increase in the debt ceiling, right? That allows us to spend that money, but it's not actually an appropriation. So what we've been doing this year is to try to break the system and get back to what we're supposed to do, which
break the system. Yeah, it's always great when somebody new on the fucking job who is responsible for flooding the kitchen going, you know, I don't even know, why does a restaurant need a kitchen, really?
Appropriations bills, so we can change the policies of the Pelosi, House last year. But unfortunately, you remember, 17 Senate Republicans sided with Nancy Pelosi to jam us with a spending bill.
Woohoo!
So now we're operating under a 45-day CR of that continued spending from last year, which I didn't want to do. I voted against.
Tough shit.
That was a part of the speaker's debate, and now that expires next January. So to answer your question, my path forward would be to continue to move the appropriations bills. You got to give the speaker a little bit of grace now because of what we.
Yeah, you can't have it Twitterverse maggots, these motherfuckers calling his office, being rude.
We just went through with the speaker's fight to give him a little bit of time, but we need to cut spending. And the way you do that is if you do any kind of a continued resolution or a stopgap spending measure, you cut at least the debt ceiling deal levels, you cut spending by about 1%. You'll remember, I put forward legislation in September that would have done that.
Yes.
We weren't able to get that moved. I thought.
Yeah. So you did that, and you weren't even able, with the control that you have of the House, to pass that part of it through the House.
I thought that was the right thing to do. But what I would do right now is move forward a cut spending bill. I would do it in a couple of phases to isolate the Department of Homeland Security so we can go after them and border security. I would simultaneously move.
Okay, these assholes are just looking for a line item veto on the departments or the elements of the government that they think are good. They will fully fund them and underfund everything else. This is why we get an omnibus. That's why. Because if you left it to whatever far left Democrats, it'd all be like Department of Education and fuck the military would be gutted, right? Never pass the military bill. If that was how you did shit, then everybody could hold whatever part of, like, if you're just a straight up industrialist and you were like, you know what, we'd make a lot more money if we got all of our grain and shit from overseas or from Canada or from South America. So fuck the farm bill. Let's vote on these separately, but I can get enough people on my side of this to fuck the farm bill out of existence. So we just zero out the fucking farm bill forever. They would do it. And so to keep shit like that from happening, you pass a giant bill that deals with all the programs at once. And that's why you have fucking committees that work on each part.
Move Israel paid for, take the money out of the IRS funding, which Mike has already sent that over to the Senate.
Right.
But I would include that in the package. And the final thing I would do is that disaster spending, $16 billion that we spent about a month ago, I would pay for that out of the IRS as well.
And then how do you actually take in any money to fund
so we can honor our commitment to shrink the expansion of the IRS.
Yeah, you're half of a third of the fucking government. It's going to get put back in, fucko.
Pay as we go, cut spending year over year, and do our part to try to force security of the border, which we're going to have to use Ukraine and the appropriations process to try to force them to do.
No, not to try to force them to do. First of all, Democrats have a comprehensive immigration plan that includes border security, just high-tech border security, instead of this fucking Berlin Wall bullshit that Donald Trump wants to do. There's portions of it are barrier, but the rest of it is fucking drones and like thermal towers that can spot human beings and lawyers to deal with asylum seekers and flight systems where they can fly people back to their country much quicker using a separate airfield just for that shit. All that, like, that's what's in there. This motherfucker just like wants, I don't know, fucking a moat and some alligators or some shit. No drones, no thermal towers, none of that stuff. No more CBP personnel, none of that shit. It's already going to be there. You don't have to leverage anything to get more shit there. They just want it specific to their choices of what they believe is the most valuable part of this. And again, if the wall fucking worked, it would have worked. Why is the border worse after the wall went up? So, anyways, the other aspect of this, of course, is that they just want to cut Ukraine. And what he means is, well, you know, if we force them to give us some budget shit, which they're gonna give us anyways, we'll give in a little on Ukraine to get that through or whatever. I got news for you. There's enough people in the Republican Party and on the Democratic side who know what's in the comprehensive immigration bill that they want to get through, and all the border stuff that they actually want to do, which means more lawyers, means drones, all that kind of shit, a high-tech border across the board. Like, there's enough that want that, and Republicans that want that, where they're like, of course I'm going to sign off on it. And you'll get full Ukraine funding with it because they know they'll be able to sell this to constituents. Meanwhile, the Chip Roys of the world are like, we just want the wall 2 feet higher and with spikes on it or some shit, and everything that actually works, fuck it.
Representative Chip Roy, District 21 Republican, great state of Texas. I should know this answer, and I think I do, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Yes, you're a motherfucker. That's what he said. You particularly, Joey Pags, he called you a motherfucker.
Have we gone back to the original baseline, or are we still on the COVID baseline?
So we have, in certain appropriations bills that we passed, so we've passed 7 appropriations bills of the 12. We've got several others in process. Some of those bills have gone back to 2019, which would be pre-COVID, or 2020, kind of depends on the bill.
Yeah, because that's where the Biden fucking budget went.
Some of those bills only go back to 2022 or 2021, which doesn't go back as far as I would prefer.
Because I want to slow the growth of America right about now while interest rates are high and Americans are still spending money. I would like to collapse that. I would like to kneecap the American consumer at one of the worst possible times. If we could just have another 2008, I've got a lot of cash on hand, just like Ted Cruz. It's sitting outside the country in fucking Cayman accounts, and I'm just waiting for the whole thing to crash down so I can buy the fuck in. That's where these assholes are coming from.
The overall spend is going to be closer to last year's spending level, but that is because we're increasing defense spending.
Okay.
Now, you know, if I were czar, I would go through and slash a lot of the bloat and bureaucracy at the Pentagon. Our appropriations bill does some of that, probably not as far as I would prefer to go, but we're increasing defense, cutting some of the bureaucracy, the woke crap, the DEI, all of that, and we're decreasing the non-defense spending by 8%.
Also, wait a second. Okay, the woke crap, the DEI that he's talking about is like on your entire body. If your entire body was the Pentagon budget, that's the fucking edge of your fingernail. The part where you're not even a full, like, overgrown fingernail. It's where you cut your fingernail, you know, you clipped them, and one side's growing a little faster, so it's sticking out, and you're like, why is that uneven like that? That little snip, yeah, that part. The one you almost tear off yourself instead of getting clippers, that's what that fucking is. Yeah, if that. Exactly, Ginger. If that. Fuck off. We're totally knocking out the woke stuff. How much is that? I don't know, $160,000, $170,000. Cash. I mean, cash, real.
Cash. Green. I mean green cash.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Roughly, get the fuck out of here.
That doesn't go as far as you and I would like to go.
Yes, they would like to scuttle the entire U.S. military until Russia is able to take over Europe, and then all nukes from that point forward, I guess.
But it does go. It takes a giant step down the road, and some of the appropriations.
What road would that be? The road towards Stalingrad?
Bills goes back to pre-COVID. We're still negotiating that and trying to get it as low as we can. Now that's House side.
Right.
Now we got to go fight it out with the Senate.
I hope we can get all of it back to pre-COVID and then actually start cutting the budget, because the only thing we're hearing from the Biden administration, all of his economic advisors come out and say, well, this is because the House won't raise taxes. We've got to go and get more taxes. We've got to raise. They're not paying their fair share. Biden said that in a speech last week. Chip, is there a fear that we're going to go back and roll back those 2017 tax cuts that we're all enjoying?
That we're all enjoying? Wait a minute. How can you Joey Pags, we're all enjoying? Young man. Oh, Joe. Say it ain't so, Joe. The tax cuts we're all enjoying. Okay, first of all, the ones for personal, accounts, the individuals, that sunsetted already. The ones for corporations still around, which again, this guy and this guy both are incorporated, have corporations. Probably Joey probably has 3 of them minimum, you think? One for his radio show, one for his live thing, whatever, just fucking firewalling all of his shit, all that kind of stuff. He's just enjoying it. He's enjoying it. If you're enjoying those tax cuts, I don't want to hear shit about how any deficits in the military spending that you don't like, or anything that like the infrastructure in Texas and the energy grid there that fucking sucks. I don't want to hear it. Because you're fine with that money just being flushed down the toilet. And if you're enjoying it, how are you enjoying it if the country that you love, America, is going to hell in the tubes of hell tubes?
Sure, of course, that's what the Democrats want to do. Now, look, you and I might look at those that bill and say, well, maybe I'll tweak something or change one little piece here.
Oh, watch yourself. You're going to get some rude phone calls.
But we need to have lower taxes to have economic growth.
Yes.
That bill created economic growth. And here's the actual truth. And you go like,
no, it didn't. It almost single-handedly created BlackRock as a financial force in the fucking country. It's almost singularly why they were able to buy up as much real estate as they were in the last fucking 4 or 5 years.
Look at the Rules Committee.
One of the reasons you've heard about BlackRock so much in the last couple of years is because of the Trump tax cuts, just fucking cutting them off the fucking chain and letting them run wild.
Debates I've had with Democrats. Every stinking week, they come in there and talk about the need to raise taxes. And I'll say, listen, in the history of this country, there's only been 2 other times where we've had the spending level that the percentage of GDP revenue coming into the Treasury that we have today, which is roughly 19.1%. We did it at World War II, and we did it in 1999 at the back end of the dot-com boom.
Right.
So 3 times.
At the back end of the dot-com boom. You mean the burst of the bubble?
In our history, we had close to 20% of GDP coming into the Treasury as the total receipts. That's not counting the states. That's not counting localities. My point of bringing that up, Joe, is that my Democratic colleagues, they protest too much. The tax policies in place are bringing in more revenue to the Treasury as a percent.
Yeah, but Trump drove up the national debt by 1/3, and we just went through fucking COVID, and the supply chains are shifting. The world actually changed. Again, this motherfucker is doing the same thing they do at MarketWatch and Bloomberg and all these other places where they pretend that we didn't go through COVID. That's exactly what he's doing. That COVID wasn't shit. That didn't happen. It's not even part of how we think about this anymore. Ugh.
Percentage of our.
All right, I'm almost done with this. It's too long and it's just not going anywhere. But I do enjoy the fact that they can't stand each other. And this is just watching Chip Roy try to polish this turd using Joey Pags' tongue is probably the best side of this.
Economy than at pretty much any time in our history. So that is a complete fool's errand to go chase more revenue via tax policy when our problem is a spending problem, whether it's mandatory, Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, veterans benefits, that we've got to make sure the prices of healthcare are such that we can afford all that.
Right.
Or whether it's discretionary spending, which is everything we're fighting about right now.
Nobody's talking about that. So almost 20% of everything is coming from tax revenue. That's crazy to me.
19.1% for 2022. Now, I think it's going down a little bit in 23 because of the Biden economy sucking.
Yeah.
But in 2022, 19.1% of our
No, because they're giving tax breaks to people because the federal interest rate went up.
gross domestic product came into the federal government as revenue receipts. That, again, does not count Texas, does not count states, does not count localities. You know your property tax bill. You know your sales tax bill.
Right.
Other states have income tax bills. You've got excise taxes. So the overall tax burden is a lot higher than the 19% of the economy, right? It's probably closer, I'm making this up, like 30. I don't know. I'd have to go.
Yeah, just make it up. I mean, it's not like you're on one of these fucking committees that knows the number or should know the number off the top of your fucking head. This is, by the way, in chat room, hi. They're boring the fuck out of me. This is that you can tell the Republicans are in deep shit. Excuse me. when even eating their own, they're boring themselves to death. Now, one of the ways you get out of a problem like that, one of the ways you save your own ass, if you're saying stuff that your own constituents hate, one of the ways out of that is by boring them. Just talk slower about it or get into minutia they're not going to get excited about. And if anybody tries to drive you towards like tough language, drop one in there so you can feel like a boss or get a little snippet. But then the rest of it go, well, there's elements of it and we're dealing with headwinds that blah, blah, blah. And just fucking turn it into a snooze fest, hoping people drop out. Now, speaking of snooze fest, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the mess himself, the Mess D'Souza. A man who, for the last little bit, has been pushing his bullshit police state movie. That's what the artwork behind him is. He usually has the movie posters from his other shit movies that nobody watches. But this one, he's trying to convince people that the people in the United States live in a police state, which is just dumb. Like, it's so materially, obviously dumb. Watching one NFL game will show you that's not the case. It's just cartoonishly ridiculous. But it's all he's talking about, except for right now, which was Tuesday's elections. And I'm curious, and I'm sure you are too, what he thinks about the Tuesday elections and how great things went for Republicans, predictably.
Some election results
Was that the death knell bell for that?
from last night, and by and large,
Loud.
they are not good. I want to.
By and large, they are not good. Shit. Run that by me again, fuckface. Wait.
Large. They
Hold on. Listen to the opening of this. It's great.
results from last night, and by and large, they are not good.
True. They're ass. Yeah. And guess what? Everybody on your side has decided to double down on the message that fucked them up. Yeah, they're gonna take the lessons unlearned from Tuesday, and they're gonna go, you know what? We just weren't stupid enough.
want to highlight two.
Yeah, that's good. Just two. It's any more than that. Oof.
The first is that in
Maybe people will turn this off and not know how depressing things are if I talk slower and more boring.
It's not good. It's a good idea. Yeah, I might have to speed him up. That's not a bad idea. As funny as okay, playback speed normal, and then we go. What do you think? 1.5? That'll do. All right, here we go. Because otherwise, we're gonna be here all fucking night.
in Kentucky, where a very good candidate, I thought, Daniel Cameron, running against Andy Beshear. Now, Andy Beshear was the incumbent governor, and he is a
He's you know what he is right now? He's still the governor, and you know what he's gonna do next year? He's gonna keep being the governor. Uh-huh.
a Democrat, but not far left. And he's also a very effective campaigner. And
Yes, because he's a Democrat and he knows what he's doing.
he pulled it off, 52 to 47, 48. And so in a deep red state, Kentucky, you have still a Democrat.
Nope. Not a deep red state. Fuck off. Lexington and Louisville are the biggest population centers in the entire fucking state. If it wasn't for the spread of the other vote, like McConnell and Rand Paul wouldn't squeak this shit out. Bullshit.
Governor. Now, I don't think it's the case that that Daniel Cameron was a bad candidate.
Yeah, it was all. You're right. It wasn't all him. It was also the ass messaging in the Ohio Valley that worked its way down into Kentucky because people are in the kind of like generalized news cycle, Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area, all the shit that Ohio's trying to pull with abortion and the like in the state, and that bleeds over into Kentucky, and they don't want any of that coming in there either. So it's partly Cameron sucks and partly Republicans are fucked.
But I also think that an important factor in these elections is turning out to be money.
Oh, you mean because Republicans aren't raising any money, or the money that they're raising is actually going to Donald Trump's legal fees and not to candidates? Weird.
Because the GOP is being outspent in these races.
They're also being outraised. That's the important part. And you'll notice this a lot, by the way. They keep saying outspent. We've seen this on a few different clips. They keep saying outspent. Well, the only reason you can be outspent is because you're being out fundraised. Well, why are they being out fundraised? Because their ideas are more popular than yours. That's how it works.
You know, it's one thing. First of all, if I think back to the 80s and 90s, the
when your shirt was in style, I kid. Come on.
GOP would often be the party with more money, and the Democrats.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like you guys are even driving away greedy business people. Even they hate you. How'd you manage that?
Democrats would be like, we don't have enough money. It's tough for us to compete. And then that became kind of more evenly balanced. But the Democrats now have taken a huge fundraising lead.
Must be that whole unemployment thing where people are employed and they're happy that they're employed now. Strange.
And for this, I actually blame the RNC because it is the job of the RNC to make sure that these important races are properly funded. And it's the job of the RNC to raise the money. And evidence.
Yeah. They've got to get the money from. Well, in Ronna McDaniel's defense, they used to get a lot of money from the NRA from Russia. So, like from Russia through the NRA, and they can't do that anymore. So, I mean, it really blew a hole in their fundraising. Yeah.
They aren't doing it, or if they're raising the money, they're not properly deploying it. And
no, I think they're keeping it. I think they've got all of it. I mean, I don't know what you want to believe, but I would say, probably go over to her house. It looks like, Bob Menendez's fucking closet. She's probably got gold bars and stacks of $10,000 bills and shit she's just not spending. I mean, have you seen her house lately? It's really nice. Rhonda's moved up in the world, Dinesh. I'm not casting aspersions. I'm not insisting that that's where it's going. I'm just saying, every time I see her, she's got a hot latte in her hand and an assistant nearby, and that shit is.
So you've got candidates, and sometimes it is a tough race. The other side has a good candidate, as in this case.
Yeah. And sometimes you guys have a bad candidate, and you just run them anyways, like Donald Trump.
And so you need to have proper funds to be able to do the campaign ads, to do the.
Yeah, to create a false image of your candidate instead of actually show the candidate for who they are. When they have to go around and speak and actually tell people what they think, that's harder to control than an ad.
Get out the vote, to do all the things that make a difference in a close election.
Yeah, that get out the vote thing, though, is actually, that's Trump. He's telling people they should only vote on one day, and a lot of them turn out to be busy on that day. You're kind of fucked, just kind of, it's a bad plan.
There have been calls for Ronna McDaniel to step down. I don't think she should have been appointed in the first place.
All right, so you're saying she should stay then? Good.
And but I think this woman is just going to doggedly hang on to her job, and this is very, to me, bad news going into 2024 because couldn't be a more critical election coming up next year.
It's bad news, really, Dinesh? You think it's bad news going into 2024? Trying really hard not to enjoy that, really, but it's hard. It's good. It's a good time. It's a good time. It's going to be terrible. You think it's going to be really rough and. You don't think your candidates can pull it out without more money coming their way, and they're just not going to get that kind of money, and also they're going to be ice skating up. It's rough. It's very rough.
And what the RNC has been doing so far does not, I repeat, not inspire confidence.
You should probably repeat it again then. Just call her. I don't know why you're telling us. She's not watching this show.
The second result I want to highlight in Ohio, and I won't talk substantively about it because I think Debbie and I are planning to do that in the next
I'm not going to talk substantively about it because I can't.
couple of days, is discuss the abortion referendum. A referendum that by and large legalizes abortion for all 9 months, for the
No, it doesn't.
full term of the pregnancy. Wow.
No, it doesn't. It just gives you the right to have an abortion in there. And the full term of the pregnancy is for a therapeutic abortion in the case of the life of the mother. So fuck off.
And doesn't even prohibit late-term abortion. And
No, it doesn't. In the case of the baby is not viable and will kill the mother.
this goes up in a moderately conservative state. Now, Midwestern states, Debbie and I were talking about this last night, are not right-wing or left.
Yeah, you can't trust these fucking Midwesterners. They're the people in the Great March West. You know, when the settlers were going, the cities have built up on the East Coast and it's amazing and they're great. But we are going to head west and seek our fortune. The people in the Midwest are generations removed from people who in that Great March West went, fuck it, you go ahead. I'm done. I'm good. Nah, this is enough. It's fucking, nah. It's the mosquitoes and Indians and I don't know. I'll be fine here. I'm just going to stay here and, what's my name? Sandusky. I'm just going to call this part of Ohio Sandusky. We just count on it and that'll be fine.
By and large, they tend to be sort of center-right or center-left. So Michigan, for example, is probably center-leaning blue, leaning left. Ohio is center-leaning right. But Ohio had a heartbeat bill that had been signed by the governor. And yet, a fairly decisive majority of voters strikes that down, eliminates the heartbeat bill, and creates essentially a Roe v. Wade, an abortion right in the state of Ohio. So that
Dear God.
cannot be considered a win. It's certainly not a win for the pro-life movement, but I don't think it's
And by the way, it's in some ways, it's a win for everybody who wants to get elected in Ohio next time because they're not running against that referendum. Believe me, Jim Jordan is very happy that shit passed now because it was going to pass whenever it was put up. The only difference I would have made is I would have put this thing if it was, and it's a timing aspect of it. But had this been in like Ohio as a bill next election cycle, Ohio's fucking Biden's. Just count on it.
a win for Republicans in general.
And it's also, by the way, Biden's more than likely going to win Ohio with this anyways. Because these assholes are all going to run on repealing it.
And it raises some interesting questions about abortion going into the
Yes, Jim Jordan is indeed married.
2024 election, which Debbie and I are going to discuss.
Oh, good. Well, I would hate to see you go rogue and discuss it without Debbie.
Brief update on Police State. The movie, as I think you know,
is shitty, is unwatchable, is ridiculous in its premise and its execution, is available on streaming services for extra money and nobody cares.
now streaming on multiple platforms. I mean,
And yet its viewership is going down. How did that happen?
name 3, Rumble. It's streaming on
Really? You managed to get it on Rumble? Fuck, you must know somebody.
Salem now. It's also streaming on Epic TV.
What? On Epic TV? Who doesn't have that?
And DVDs are available for sale.
What? DVDs? Oh my God. Can I get one signed? Of course you can't, because we live in a police state. I can't go to... Dinesh, I can't go to a store and buy a DVD. The cops will see me buying it. No, it's part of the unapproved message 1984 thing that we live. I'm not allowed to look at. It's on the scarlet letter list of movies, and they're gonna beat the living fuck out of me. I'll do that for a VHS, but not for a DVD. No.
Fortunately, not from Amazon, not from Walmart. They won't let us sell our DVDs.
Huh. They don't tend to sell a lot of DVDs anyways, but...
And again, look, I'm not claiming that that's the police state per se. These are...
Yes, we know.
Big corporations. They're allowed to make these decisions.
Right, yeah, they're private. Yeah, they can do whatever the fuck they want. That's something that Republicans used to believe, and somehow they don't now.
But the decisions are so arbitrary. They make no sense. There's nothing in the movie that's banned. There's nothing in the movie that's inaccurate. Fact checkers haven't said, oh, this didn't really even happen to...
Yeah, in all fairness, though, a lot of fact checkers haven't bothered to watch this one because it's so absurd on its fucking face. Let me fact check the movie without watching it. We, in the United States of America, do not live in a police state. Feel free to at me.
Not at all. Everything in the movie is 100% accurate. The movie obviously has a market, so they're not saying, oh, nobody's going to want to buy your DVDs. On the contrary, they are blocking the sale of our DVDs. Well,
Oh, so then maybe they are part of the police state then after all. It's sad.
look, the best remedy here is to, and we're reaching out to Walmart. We're gonna try to get them to reverse that decision. But in the meantime, guess what? Buy DVDs where we are able to sell them, and that's Salem Now, that's Shopify. So if you go to policestatefilm.net,
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm really not.
this is about the right time to do it. So
Yeah, Christmas. You know what I mean? Nothing says Merry Christmas like, we live in a police state.
go ahead and order a bunch of DVDs for family members or for friends. They'll
Yeah, a bunch of them. That's how they come in, not in packs, in bunches, right?
be grateful you did, because sometimes there are guys I find they're fans of mine, and yet somehow they're inert. They just don't take action themselves. They're like,
Yeah, they're huge fans, but they just don't watch anything you do or buy anything you do, and they laugh while they're saying I'm a big fan. I'm just telling you, it's a mixed message. That's really the issue. You know what I mean? 'Cause
it's almost like they want the movie to like pop up on their TV screen.
yeah, like an asshole. Like they don't want to do anything for me.
So you can make it easier for them by delivering them a DVD and
Yeah, no, I don't even know these motherfuckers. How am I supposed to? Yeah, what if they have Betamax? What if they've got a Laserdisc player? What if do I gotta buy them a DVD player too? What if they don't have one anymore? What if they got one of these? What they're like? I've got a MacBook Air. It doesn't even have a drive slot in it anymore. I'm kidding, of course. Everyone that's a fan of Dinesh D'Souza still has a disk drive on their computer. I'm just gonna say. There's an absolute Venn diagram overlap of people who have laptops that have pop-out CD-ROM drives on them on their laptop and Dinesh D'Souza fans. They're exactly the same people. Why do I need a new computer? This downloads GIFs of trannies just fine.
hey, here's the film you kind of wanted to be watching anyway.
Kinda. That's easy on the hard sell. The film you kinda wanted to be watching anyways. Who are these? How am I supposed to sneak up on these motherfuckers? What if I'm wrong? Here's the movie you kind of want to be watching. What are you saying? Fuck you, Bap. You know, like, I don't want to get into a fucking fight.
Make it easy for you. Watch it.
But Jesus, that's it. There's like a minute left.
Debbie and I started taking Relief Factor a couple of years ago, and what a
Oh my God. It's an ad. This is fucking, we got roped in. Relief Factor. It's a relief this fucking segment's over. Jesus Christ. Let me know when, like, you and Debbie decide to talk about abortion. At least I'll have something to laugh about. By the way, let's give them something to laugh about. Laugh about her. Okay. Okay. So apparently the Chip Roy calling them motherfuckers has made the rounds. And okay, whoever works at the Blaze that's supposed to use the pictures of who's picking what stills from their camera to use of Glenn just hates his guts. Let's be honest. They fucking hate him. Like, look at his sausagey fingers. Look how bloated he is. Look at his fucking and I mean his outfits are his own fucking mistake. And how many fucking types like this asshole picks his glasses based on the outfit he's wearing, and I'm supposed to be the effete SAG member actor dude. I'm the one who's touched. Yeesh. So anyways, he looks awful. Like I can tell, I can hear his fucking nasal congestion in this fucking picture. Glenn, stop going to Sonic, you dumb motherfucker. Stop it. Jesus, man. Get somebody to run you through the carnivore diet. It's all butch, and people will think none of your fucking dipshit friends will hate you for it. It's all the fucking fries and shakes and sodas, you dumbass. He looks awful. Why am I running interference for these motherfuckers? Okay, here we go. But Chip Roy's fiery message to federal bureaucracy and shutdown debate. This is it.
As the world burns down, what is our Speaker of the House doing? I don't know. Remember,
he's posting his not quite adopted son's mugshots. All 10 of them. 10, right?
we have the fight to aid Israel.
The fight to aid Israel. There is no fight. The only thing that's a fight about it is you guys trying not to fund and support other people at the same time. There's no fight at all. Like they don't need anything, and B, they're getting more than they need.
And not Hamas. We have the fight.
All right. So he thinks we're fighting not to fund Hamas because we want to send relief supplies to Palestinians.
Secure the border. We have the fight to discover the truth of what our government has really become. By the way, I misspoke earlier today. I said that we had all of the videotape from January 6th. It was my understanding that we were receiving it. Apparently, that is the word, but the Speaker of the House has not done anything yet. I'm sure he's very busy doing stuff.
They're literally trying to pass a budget and a continuing resolution and all that kind of shit. Yeah, he is busy doing actual stuff, dumb fuck. And they're not going to have people comb through all this fucking footage and then dump it on the internet. Jesus Christ.
That is important.
No, it isn't. It's not important. All you're going to do, and look, part of me wants this footage to all come out. I got to tell you. I got to say, there's a lot in me that wants all the footage from January 6th that can come out, but for one or two frames here and there that might like give away a safe passage exit for people who work there. That's kind of crucial. Anything short of that doesn't give any of that shit away or doesn't dock someone or show fucking cops' face so these assholes can do an image search on them and follow these cops home and try to make their lives hell, which is another part of these fucking Jan 6er assholes' plan. Anything outside of that where they're just showing these assholes inside there, I'm for it. You know why? Because when Tucker Carlson showed the footage that he got, which, by the way, he only showed only a third of the footage he showed was actually from the stuff he was allowed to see by McCarthy. The rest of it he got from other sources and Facebook, and he cut it all together. No timestamps, none of that shit. And still, 3 more people got arrest warrants because they were in that footage that the DOJ and the FBI just hadn't gotten around to these motherfuckers. And they're like, oh, fuck, that guy's not supposed... Oh, that's the guy who hit him. Oh, there he is. We've been looking at... We haven't gone through all the footage because you can't. And here he is bragging on Facebook. Oh, look. Oh, thanks, Tucker Carlson. 3 more of these motherfuckers went to jail because of what he did. So release this shit and let these motherfuckers put it up on a website you can comb through. And I guarantee the fucking... porch sleuths and true crime fans who aren't on a particular case right now start combing through that shit and going, hey, look at that. Here's the people who built the gallows. What do you fucking know?
I hope that he is also working on the budget and we're passing budget. Otherwise, 2 weeks, we come up to that. Oh my gosh, they're going to shut down the government.
It's good to have optimism for him and everything that he's going to do. However, I know that we...
Are you guys freezing? The fact that his studio is this air conditioned where both of these dudes, with as much insulation as they have, are cold is ridiculous. I had a dream. Let me tell you something, kids. Gather around here. Let me just tell you something. I had a dream at one point that my morning show I would do in a t-shirt. In the afternoons, I'd throw on a jacket. And I do the show kind of so you could tell, there's stylistic difference between the show, all that kind of shit. And I would just go, I'll just throw on a jacket with it. And I did it for a little while. And I cooked my motherfucking ass off because it's hot in here. Because a computer that processes video is like a goddamn toaster. And if I leave the fan on, it's too goddamn noisy. So I just cook myself for you guys. And I love you, and it's okay. But, like, this is the size of, this is my studio. There you go. This is the whole fucking, there it is. This is the green, and it just hangs. And there's a fan right here, ceiling fan. It's very quiet. But if I turn it on, it bangs against the top of the green screen. You remember the jackets. Thank you, Georgina. And these motherfuckers are freezing in their giant space station. Look, and as much fucking human insulation as they have. What the fuck? Just aggravating.
We're supposedly going to have access to all these tapes when McCarthy was in.
Okay, hold on. I got to go back to this thing.
So I can't imagine we're not going to get them now.
Let me go to Chip Roy, who is our congressman from the great state of Texas. Hello, Chip.
Do all you motherfuckers all live in the Austin area now? Did they all just retreat there? Also, why the fuck didn't you move to Dallas? Too many Chinese people? Is that the problem? Why didn't you move to Houston? Too many Chinese people and too many black people? Too many of everybody? Why are you in fucking Austin? These motherfuckers, again, I understand to some degree, like, Alex Jones is in Austin, so maybe that's why they went there. That's where fucking Joe Rogan moved to. And part of it's because it's a state capital, they had the best. I think he's in Utah. That's where his house is, because he's Canadian. But he's Canadian. Listen to me. He moved there. He moved to Utah when he became a Mormon with his family and set up a ranch there. But this studio, if Chip Roy is his guy, he's in Austin. He's in the North Austin area. And that's, I got to tell you, that's like fucking this close to this. That Austin's the fucking Portland, hashtag Rip Portland, is the Portland of Texas.
Yep.
Hey, Glenn, how are you?
Good. How is our new Speaker of the House so far?
Mike's been doing a good job. Like, we got 2 weeks of data. The first step, the first big thing he did was isolating Israel, making sure we pass it standalone, and then using the
that's not going to happen.
Expansion of the Internal Revenue Service and take $14.5 billion out of that.
We're going to contract the expansion. Excellent.
Pot of money, about 70-something billion sitting over there.
Pay for it.
And use that to pay for Israel. And, of course, our Democratic colleagues.
Why would we use American tax dollars? By the way, when you're using this money for Israel, you know we're going to get paid back, right? That this is emergency funding. So the idea is that Israel's a well-to-do country. They'll be able to pay us back. This is just, even if you're trying to defund the IRS to do this, all it is a fucking delay. And maybe that's the point, is that they're trying to bullshit their constituents.
Are choosing the IRS over Israel.
Right.
Fortunately, 12 of them didn't, but we got to keep going down that road. That was the right approach by Speaker Johnson. We got to encourage that. And now, as we're dealing with the spending issues,
what do you got to encourage him to do? What are you going to do? What do you have to encourage him to do? More impotent bills that go up to the Senate, get reshaped, come back and pass? Why? What's the fucking point? Why add another step? You can make these arguments, period, but it's not going to change a fucking thing. All you're doing is like, I mean, it's PR, and it's terrible.
So-called CR debate, continuing resolution. We got to hold the line, and that's the
hold the line. CR isn't always on time. CR isn't always on time.
The message we're
hold the line. Fuck. You do realize when you say that, you don't sound like a fucking Braveheart scene on the hustings. You sound like you're playing Red Rover, dumbass. Okay, hold the line, everybody. The fat kid's coming. He's bigger than us, but we can do it. My elbow already hurts. Shut the fuck up.
Sending to Mike this week that we love him, love what he did on the IRS in Israel.
That's one.
Now game time on the spending bills, and we.
What do you mean that's one, dumb fuck? He just told you it didn't pass.
We need to fight.
Yeah, we're in deep trouble with the spending, as you know.
Thanks, Donald Trump.
and the securing of our border. Nothing is happening there.
Yeah, I don't even know why these Texas Rangers were chasing this car full of immigrants. I don't even know why that guy was even speeding when he ran into that old couple and killed them, because what's he running from? We're not stopping anybody. We're not arresting anybody. We're not ejecting anybody. We're not stopping it. The border is wide open.
Biden said he was willing to, secure our border. It shows he has absolutely no care in the world for the damage that is being done to our.
Well, he said he wanted to secure the border. That wouldn't it be then in the court of the people who offer up that funding? I guess they just don't think. They think letting Ukraine get bulldozed by Russia is more important than our border. They think allowing Russia to overtake Ukraine's border is more important than protecting our border. How do you see how I can flip that stupid fucking message on its head?
Our republic.
Our republic. The Republic of Texas?
Well, Glenn, you're 100% correct.
You're 100%. By the way, how did Greg Abbott's shutdown of the border go? How'd that go? How was that? How was that for? Hold on, I'm gonna border closure. Let's see the news stuff to do. Hold on. This is the new thing. Hold on. Let's see. Take this off. And I'll take this guy. Then we go to here. This is okay. Go away. There you go. This is what's happening with Greg Abbott. Abbott fences off border with New Mexico for immigration. Maybe just do the whole state. Abbott wants to protect his state from migrants, and I want to protect all the other states from Texas' horrendously cruel ideas. So a fence around the whole Lone Star State makes sense. And you think he's kidding? No. Here's the okay. Abbott creates razor wire border fence with New Mexico. Why not wall off all of Texas? That's the carrier that yeah. I wish I loved anything as much as Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott loves razor-sharp, flesh-ripping coils of concertina wire. Having made national headlines and aroused the more sadistic wing of his party's voting base by stretching dangerous buoys and razor wire along the Rio Grande, the thirsty to get on Fox News governor has now had the Texas National Guard stretch miles of concertina wire along the state's border with New Mexico. That's right. Abbott is directly violating the Texas state motto, friendship, by fencing off a neighboring state. Yeah. There you go. There's the concertina wire. By the way, can you... I mean, you can barely see the light glinting off that during the day. You think you could see that at night if you were in a boat and it capsized and you just need to swim ashore? Let's just say, for sake of argument, you're Customs and Border Patrol. You've got a couple of days on the job, and they're having you patrol the Rio Grande there, and you're in your boat, and something happens. They have your outboard turns into an inboard. A freshwater shark attacks you, whatever. Anyways, you end up in the water, you start swimming, because you know which way America is in your heart. You start swimming towards it, and you get caught up in concertina wire for no fucking reason that you can't see in the dark. You're like, oh, I'll swim around the orange buoys that I can't climb over into this area, and it'll be, oh dear God. Yeah, I'll swim towards the Christianity. Yeah. Why not fence off all of Texas to protect the rest of us from Governor Abbott? There you go. And this is the El Paso Times. Governor Abbott needs public accountability for failing border efforts. The Texas legislature in Austin is debating a proposal to allocate another $1.5 billion taxpayer dollars to border barriers that have proven ineffective. This comes after tens of billions of dollars have been spent on DPS, Texas National Guard, drones, planes, and a busing of migrants and walls over the past decade. Abbott's administration's effort to deter migration, the jurisdiction of the federal government, have proven costly and ineffective. For too long, vulnerable individuals and families have journeyed to our borders seeking safety from persecution and instability. It's time to recognize the Abbott approach is not working. Rather than making their journey safer, the governor's policies have only increased the danger, chaos, and unnecessary complexity. Right. It only affects the asylum people. It does not affect drug dealers or any of those folks. He's just a shitbird.
And we've talked about this on your show.
Yeah, that's the great thing about the Blaze. It's nothing if not repetitive.
What's happening is totally indefensible, and you know that, and I know that, and every American knows that.
Everybody knows it. Knows what?
The number of people who have come in, the amount of fentanyl, the amount of deaths, the amount of danger.
The amount of danger. I don't know. I like a certain amount of danger. Makes you stout. So, yeah.
Texans are put in, the impact on our economy, the $10 billion we've had to spend in Texas to do the job of the federal government. So
No, you haven't. You're just doing your version of it. That's not you doing the job of the federal government. That's you superseding the federal government's job.
Got to do something about the border now.
Didn't you build a wall? Don't wall. Maybe you should try some wheels. Walls and wheels always work. I heard that from some shithead.
The current thinking in this town is
Austin,
that we need to leverage Ukraine in order to
DC.
Force border security. Now, the problem is
Democrats won't want border security and Ukraine, and you guys want to run on border security and not solve it, and you want to fuck Ukraine. So you don't want either.
And I'm sure you're going to agree.
Well, of course he would. Glenn doesn't have people on his show he disagrees with, you silly man.
That accepts the premise of Ukraine in the first place.
Yes.
The premise.
So what
would that? Whoa! Don't say yes, fuckwad. What do you mean premise? That they were attacked, or that they're full of Nazis and that's why they were attacked, or we made Russia attack them? What narrative? Don't just go yeah. Clarify yourself.
Trying to fight through right now is what debate do we need to have?
Here's one. Have a debate amongst your party about what conservatism is, what it actually involves, and maybe do like a, wander in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. Just figure your shit out and leave the rest of us out of it.
About whether any more money to Ukraine is acceptable or defensible, right?
It is.
And so that's kind of a condition precedent we have to establish. And so
No, you don't. No, there's not enough of you.
Trying to force that conversation.
No, you're not going to force that conversation. Nobody's on board with this. Like you've got a slim group of people around you who are blowing the smoke up your ass. Nobody else buys it.
Transparency, where the money's going to go, how it's used. Is it in our national security interest?
Yes, and we already know.
And if so, is it enough of that to then warrant using it as a kind of leverage point to force border security? So here's a hypothetical.
Okay, so what he's saying is, it's a good move. Okay, so he's saying, let's look at Ukraine, see if it's worthwhile, if it's a good expenditure of our money, and it's valuable to American security. And if it is, then we use it as leverage. Yeah. Fuck you. So you only want to use it as leverage if it is worthwhile. If it isn't worthwhile, then I guess what? Pay it out and don't bother?
We tell the Democrats, look, your whole lives depend apparently on funding another country's proxy war. So,
no. I mean, if we're funding another country, in this case Ukraine, it's for their war. The talking point you're alluding to is that the Kremlin gave you is that this is a U.S. proxy war with Russia. One of which, by the way, if it is the case, everyone in the Pentagon thinks we're getting a win against Russia for fucking pennies on the dollar.
Okay, you want to do that. So let's say $36 billion over 12 months. I mean, this is hypothetical, Glenn. I'm not advocating this. If you do that and we say $3 billion a month, provided, however, there are no releases of any individuals into the United States, period.
What do you mean, Ukrainians? And also, there are no releases of any people into the country, period. So nobody who comes here for asylum, I guess, from anywhere is accepted, which is illegal under international law. This is just goofy. Again, this is that like setting up. He's basically making a Taliban deal. If you're out of here by this date next year, we won't kill anybody. But if you aren't, we'll start killing again.
And then we'll dole out that $3 billion as a way to leverage and force Biden, who has no interest in following the law. So we pass H.R. 2, force him to sign it.
Yeah, which you can't do at all. Won't happen.
And then we, dole out some dollars and say, look, we're going to hold you accountable to this. Now, that's a hypothetical.
Yeah, it's more, it's not hypo, and it's not Cole. It's more just pathetic. It's like it's in the middle.
That we're discussing?
Who's we, motherfucker? You and Glenn?
And we might do that.
Yeah, you might. You won't.
But for me, the question before us right now is we got this funding of government question coming up. And I just want to ask you and the people listening to your show, do you think that I, as an elected member of Congress, should agree to continue funding at the Nancy Pelosi spending levels of last December?
No.
And keep funding.
Glenn, he doesn't mean you. He's asking viewers to call into your show or write letters and pretend they're you.
DHS and keep funding my orcas and keep funding the United Nations and keep funding UNRWA and keep funding a DOJ weaponized against the American people.
No.
In order to give time.
Hey, Glenn, you do realize you're just in this dumb motherfucker's district. The rest of us are in America. We live and get along with a lot of different people. We're in complex societies, not the fucking north side of Austin where this motherfucker without a single cow wears a cowboy hat all the time, unironically.
For appropriations bills to get negotiated. My answer to that is no.
Gee, couldn't have seen that coming.
You've got to give me cuts. You've got to give me something.
Yeah, you got to starve some kids. You got to make sure that some children that I don't like the basic shade of, color-wise, eat less.
In order to buy more time to pass the appropriations bills.
Why do we have to buy you more time, you dumb motherfucker? You had a speaker. You have a razor-thin majority in the House. You can't get a do-or-die bill on anything passed because the Senate's not going to let you fuck the country. Here's a good idea. Maybe talk to your constituents in a sensible way, and anybody who gives you shit, deal with what Democrats have had to deal with at times and go, you want more of this? Elect more of us. But we got a razor-thin majority, and we don't have the Senate, we don't have the White House. You guys got to show up next time, or we're not able to do any of this stuff. We can send bills up, they're just going to die. Ask Nancy Pelosi. She went through the same fucking thing. You got to have a mandate, and you got to have, both two chambers at least. You got to either have the presidency in the House or the Senate or all three or both the House and the Senate, and you don't necessarily need the presidency, but you can leverage them. But we got half of one, and by this much, it's so small a margin that one half of one of the caucuses can fuck up everything, and there is no unity in the party. Why is this our fucking problem?
I'm glad we've passed 7 appropriations bills. It's better than previous Congresses, but so what?
Yeah, they're not going to pass. You pass them amongst your voters, your constituency, and just barely.
Until they get signed into law changing policies and cutting spending, then
it means
not
nothing.
doing the American people.
Hey, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Glenn, for pointing out that everything Chip Roy has just said for the last fucking whatever in this clip and others that we've watched, everything James Comer is doing, everything that fucking Jim Jordan is doing, everything that Marjorie Taylor Greene is advocating for, all that stuff, listen to me here, 2 words, means nothing. Means nothing. PR bills ain't shit.
Any good.
No.
So for me, I'm not going to vote for a so-called clean CR.
Nobody gives a fuck. You can you could vote or not vote. There are enough people in the Republican Party, and there are enough Democrats in the House to pass. If this asshole, Mike Johnson, puts any reasonable spending bill on the floor, it will make it to the Senate. The Senate will sign off on it, and it will get bounced back and signed off, and it will go to the president. He'll sign it. Anything short of that, it's going to die in the Senate, and it's going to be your ass. It's your party.
And that's what's being floated. And some of the people in this town are trying to pressure Mike to agree to a clean CR. And I just flat out disagree with it, and I'm going to fight it.
Nobody gives a shit. Your fight is completely impotent.
Yeah, I mean, Chip.
Chip, buddy. Chip, come here. Chip, up, Chip.
Just the interest rate alone at what we are borrowing things at now continues to go up.
No, the Powell just stopped raising the rate.
We, by 2030 or 2033, we will be able to pay for Social Security and interest alone. Not the light bills, not any perk, nothing. Just Social Security, what we've promised, and interest.
No, I mean, obviously, the money that was made because of salvaging businesses will work its way through the economy, and a good portion of, again, patching the $21 trillion hole with $6 trillion. The result of that will be that anybody that was salvaged will eventually add an extra third to the economy over time. And even as we've accrued more debt, we've accrued a larger economy alongside of it, just like somebody who goes from living in an apartment who has no debt to someone who owns a house who has enormous debt, but they also make a lot more money, and they're able to buy more things and all that kind of stuff because they pay off what they owe over time in a measured way or refinance it. The Treasury has been doing a bunch of different bond tricks and all kinds of stuff, lowering their debt burden internally, even in spite of the rise in interest rates.
No war machine. What the hell is wrong with people in Washington?
Yeah, don't they want a war machine? I mean, as I got to say, as Kiss songs go, it is it's in my top 3 Gene songs of all time. Yeah.
What do they think is going to happen?
A 1% increase in interest rates increases our total interest load about $180 billion.
Which is at 1 year's, it's whatever, little less than 20% of our military budget for a year.
Think about that, Glenn. And that's what we're doing.
Well, I recommend you have a hard spine here. I don't think that there is any reason.
Yeah, it won't matter. He can have the hardest he can have a fucking fused spine, you dumb motherfucker. You ain't got the votes. Sensible people and sensible heads are going to prevail, and you guys are going to act like bigger and bigger dipshits over the next year. You're going to lose that election too, and sensible people are going to go, okay, we're going to pare down this cost, and our overall costs are going to go down over time because technology is deflationary at its root. And between AI and automation and a bunch of other things, the cost of how we live is going to go down inexorably over the next decade, and that's where the debt will get paid off. And they fucking know it. In the same way that while we geared up industrial production in the United States during the Industrial Revolution and post-World War II, we were taking on a shit ton more debt, but we were building an industrial base that eventually paid off that money. It brought it back down. Technology is going to do the exact same thing again. That's how it works. And the minute we don't have to pay for fucking oil anymore, Jesus Christ, the only thing we need oil for after 2040, more than likely, besides like kerosene for fucking airplanes at some point, like big, giant airplanes, is fucking plastics, maybe. And that's if by that time we'll have moved to like 60% bioplastics made from like cellulose and shit like that breaks down. The only thing we won't have in it is liquids that we store, like bottles of water in stores and that kind of shit, because that'll break down over time. But anything that's temporary plastic or even close to temporary plastic that you don't leave stuff in for a good long while, or if you do, you leave it refrigerated, will be biodegradable over the course of 5 years. That's going to be 60% of the plastics in use, including medical use.
Not go back to the spending levels of 2019 before the emergencies. There's no reason. None. Can you give me one?
No, Glenn, look, I'm with you. And so I will give this a little bit of a grace because it's important.
Yeah, give a little grace. Give a little bit. Give a little bit of Chip's grace for you.
Mike's come on the job. He's been here 2 weeks, setting up his team. His first shot out of the gate was a good one.
Yep.
IRS funding for Israel.
Yep.
Which didn't do anything.
I'm trying to help set the stage for the next steps. And I'm sorry, I'm walking.
There is no next step, shithead.
Walking over to me with Mike, so you're getting some echoing in the hallway. But
yeah.
But look, my pressure point here is you got to change this town.
You can't change this town. You don't have the votes to change this town, you dumb motherfucker. You can't even change Texas. Oh, for fuck's sake. You can't change Texas. Austin is as fucking woke as any Texas town could ever fucking be. You can't change Texas, dum-dum.
You give me something that I can sink my teeth into.
My dick. Thank you.
For example, fine, you want an extension of the current funding levels in order to buy time to get a...
Fine. You want that? Fine.
Appropriations bills passed? Okay.
Fine.
But I want the disaster aid that we already passed by by unanimous consent.
Yeah, disaster aid. Fuck those tornado victims. And yeah.
Or whatever. When we voted for it a few weeks ago, we passed a disaster supplemental that was
it was a disaster.
Unpaid for. $16 billion. I want to see Israel get done paid for. That's $30 billion that we will save. And I want to see a serious and concrete path for getting the appropriations bills passed in December. You give me all that,
and I might let you have what you want.
Now you're in the zip code of something.
Now you're in the zip code of, oh, it's already passed without me because I voted against it and it didn't fucking matter. Oh.
Thing I can listen to. But what about capping the so-called Inflation Reduction Act subsidies that are destroying the American economy?
They're destroying the American economy. I mean, honestly. Hold on. We have to check. We certainly have to check in on this. Yeah, the CBO does not agree. You're absolutely right. Let's see. U.S. economy. Hold on. Let me. There's a kind of Goldilocks. That was the word I heard on Bloomberg the other day. There you go. This is fucking terrible. What's going on with the terrible? U.S. stocks jump on Goldilocks job report to cap biggest weekly rally of the year. This is 6 days ago. Terrible. Look at this. Look at this happy guy. Fucking love this guy. He's like it's like a ghost from the 1920s that haunts the exchange. U.S. stocks jumped on Friday after a Goldilocks jobs report took pressure off interest rates. U.S. economy added 150,000 jobs in October, shy of the estimated 180. The unemployment rate ticked up to 3.9% from 3.8%, and wage growth slowed because we're running out of people to take jobs because everybody's got one. We got one! Fed zone economists are predicting a Goldilocks scenario. No recession, falling inflation, and flat unemployment. This is October 12th. The Federal Reserve's economists are predicting a so-called Goldilocks scenario, Fed Minutes show. They expect growth, flat unemployment, and inflation to fall around 2% between 2024 and 2026. Fed staff don't anticipate a recession after raising it as a distinct possibility earlier this year. Yes, that's what destroying the U.S. economy looks like, according to Chip Roy.
What about other changes that we should do to force spending down and to free up the American people to create wealth?
What does anybody feel held back at creating wealth? You know, the only thing that really I honestly feel like holds me back from quote unquote creating wealth is that I can't walk into a fucking bank and on just some slathering bullshit about my brand walk out with $100 million to invest in something. Or in the case of Donald Trump, 200 million. I mean, I have been with this show, and thanks to you guys, we reached a point where, you know, Johnny doesn't have to do the show for free anymore. CSL doesn't necessarily have to do the show for free anymore. Like, and I'm growing it piece by piece. And as we build, and we can occasionally like take gear that I've outgrown and send it to somebody like Boston Brian, and I can improve on things here, and that expands outward. And there's a ripple effect about making this show into the small business that it could be. And I'm you know, effectively, this didn't have to exist. I thought this show up when COVID hit as just a, you know, a thing to do until we go back to abnormal, right? And slowly but surely, we're expanding this thing. We're turning it into something else, and it's allowing other people to do stuff. You know what I mean? That's my goal for this thing. That's allegedly what happens in this fucking room. This guy's got employees. He's got fewer than he should have and more than he needs. Right? But Glenn Beck isn't going broke. Glenn Beck sees a dent in his fucking bottom line when Americans stop buying prepper food. This is one of those things where if you judge the expenditures of a society and you go try to judge the health of a society and its economy by what they're, you know, how much money they're spending, and you go, oh, they're spending a lot more money, and that's good. But if you look at it, they're looking at like facelifts and antidepressants. That's not necessarily a healthy society then. It might be. It might be that they're getting help for their depression. And it might be that people are feeling better about themselves. But it also might be that you've got a wave of fucking misery and people are trying to buy their way out of it. And they're spending more money to do it because there's no other outlet that allows them to feel good about themselves, right? That could be a bad sign. Just because the money's going up doesn't mean you're doing well as a society. But then there are situations like this little show that all along this way, we fucking move the ball fucking down the field trying to turn this show into something for real. And that growth impacts other people. It helps. I'm able to bring people on my show that don't have the following that I have yet and bring them up and make them, you know, available to you guys so you guys can get to know them, right? And that helps them out. No skin off my nose, extra for the show and extra for you guys as viewers, and it's good for them. And it doesn't cost them anything, right? I'm not charging people to be on my fucking show. It's just to pay it forward kind of a thing. So I'm able in this show to increase the wealth of other people as I build this show out. That's fucking awesome. Look at this fucking miserable mess. Look at these two dickheads sitting in the same fucking seat with, they used to have 3 engineers, now they have 1. And the only way this motherfucker makes money is if the world is shit. The only way Chip Roy gets votes is if the world is shit. And it ain't, so they're trying to talk everybody into it. They're trying to scare everybody into fucking the prepper mindset.
What about border security?
Okay, it's not my fault the wall doesn't work, you fuckhead.
So these are the things I'm raising. Do not ask me to continue to fund the government that's killing my people.
The government is not killing your people. The government is trying to keep fentanyl out, and you need to raise funding to keep more of it out. What are you talking about? The government is not killing your people. First of all, you don't have people. You're a fucking representative of a goddamn district. You didn't win 100%. You're not the fucking king of the strip malls in North Austin killing your people. Get the fuck out of here.
It's at war with the people that I represent, because I can't do that.
So, Chip, I gotta throw another log on the fire here for you. I'm sorry to do this because I know you're.
It scares me whenever he says throw another log on
the fire. Bogged down with everything else. But there's a story that came out yesterday about the FCC, and we've talked to the commissioner of
this motherfucker trying to call his representative. They're going to come after me.
FCC. And it is the most far-reaching administrative state power grab in the history of technology.
I'm gonna go with the Chinese control of their own internet is going to be higher than that, and I'm gonna go with what what websites you can see while you're in Russia or yeah. No, Iran, North Korea. Okay.
They're passing it next Tuesday.
Are they?
It's all but done. It will take centrist Republicans to try to convince them to back off on this, but it's 3-2 for the Democrats in the vote next week. And it gives the administration total control over everything, all expansion, all infrastructure, all rates, everything under the FCC. And that happens Tuesday.
Control of over every rates of everything in what internet rates.
So this is you're right. That's a log on the fire. I could give you about 20 logs on the fire.
I know.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are just dropping logs all around. This is nonsense. Okay, first of all, that just tells me Chip Roy doesn't know what the fuck Glenn is talking about. He's trying to figure out what he's talking about.
I know.
Right. You know, right now the deposition is going on for Weiss. What we're seeing in terms of the Biden situation and Hunter Biden and the president and the family of corruption.
Chip Roy, he doesn't care about that. He thinks the FCC is going to make the internet not expensive enough, and Glenn will have to compete with the likes of me.
We could go down the list of the things that are happening right now with ATF and the exertion of their authority over the American people, the prohibition of distributing weapons.
All right, yeah. So Chip doesn't know what Glenn is talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So he's just trying to divert
people.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Does anybody know what he's talking about? Hold on. New FCC rules. Let's see. There's got to be. Let's see. New FCC rules. I saw there was a video. New FCC over the broadband internet access. Okay, yeah. So this is the whole rural broadband thing. New FCC rules proposed for broadband internet access providers. Okay, let's give it a shot. This is November 23rd. Okay. On October 19th, 2023, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, led by Democratic Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel, adopted a notice of proposed rulemaking to initiate a new open internet or net neutrality proceeding. Oh dear, not net neutrality. Okay, go away, quit. I don't want that. You lady thing, get out. Okay, I only get to see part of it. Fuck you. Providers of mass market. Okay, the FCC reaches certain tentative conclusions and proposes specific rules applicable to providers of mass market retail broadband internet access service. Bias. The NPRM was adopted by a 3-2 vote, with the Republican commissioners dissenting and the Republican Commissioner Brenda Carr calling the approach a solution that won't work to a problem that doesn't exist. Comments on the FCC's tentative conclusions and proposed rules are due December 14th. Replies are due January 17, 2024. The president's got the ability to sign off on it. This is the CGR memo on it. Bottom line in front. The FCC proposes to reestablish greater regulatory authority over bias by reclassifying the service as a telecommunication service subject to the Title II of the Communications Act of 1934, as amended, the Communications Act, and adopting bright line rules to protect internet openness. The FCC proposes to forbear from all provisions of Title II that would otherwise permit rate regulation of bias. The FCC instead will depend on the statutory provisions to address non-rate related issues. Fucking hell. The FCC also proposes to forbear from the requirement that bias contribute to the Federal Universal Service Fund or other federal funds such as the Telecommunications Relay Service Fund at this time. Although classification as telecommunication service normally would subject bias to all of Title II, the FCC proposes to use the same forbearance framework previously adopted in 2015, plus the statutory authorities to... Yes, it's terrible. Okay, here we go. Like, for fuck's sake, they're just making rural broadband available, and while the government pays all these private contractors under the Inflation Reduction Act and in the infrastructure bill to lay out broadband and attach it all throughout this fucking country, that the new cable companies or the private companies that are there to regulate and service these things don't fuck everybody out in the middle of the woods out of their quality service by jacking the rate up on them. And that there's a consistency across it. Reject the FCC's application for internal policy statement principles and complain against Comcast. Okay, yeah, this is like just all this shit is just yeah, Biden's kicking ass. All of this is is just so there's the internet across, and there's two fear points. One is the Glenn Becks of the world, are part of their side hustle is selling Starlink or some version of it. And they have deals with these DirecTV-esque kind of Patriot internet satellite dish shit that's going to be obsolete in a couple of years. So they don't like that to begin with. The other thing is that if you've got all these options and you can, get Netflix out in the middle of fucking nowhere, you're more than likely going to watch that instead of listening to AM radio and these dickheads. The other aspect is that if internet kicks ass everywhere, then the Silicon Valley types and the blue state folks like myself who do a show like this could fucking move to Montana or Idaho or Eastern Washington State or all these places where for years these folks have had a clinch on these tiny little hamlets, and they end up controlling the Senate specifically because Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota have so few people in them. And 100,000 people fucking moving to, the Dakotas, for example, totally changes the weight of the electorate there. So there, yes, the actor strike is over. It's very good. It should be new porn soon. You wish. Anyways, that's what they're worried about. They're worried about the fact that if internet is good anywhere, all these fucking remote workers from blue states are going to move in next to them and shift the voting rolls. And there'll still be enough people in the blue states in the cities to keep them where they are. So there. Yeah. So they're a little nervous.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar. Moon River.
Right.
Around the world and helping people, the extent to which they're clamping down. Yeah, the FCC, what you're just talking about right there. We've got, there's a litany of things, which goes to my point.
He doesn't know. He just mentioned FCC. He has no fucking clue. This is in the administration, and it has nothing. He has no control over it. The House has no fucking control over this. They don't. They can't do anything.
About the paying for us funding a federal bureaucracy that's at war with the people we represent, Glenn. So that.
It's not at war with the people you represent, dumb fuck. You are. Chip Roy is at war with his North Austin or South Austin, whatever the fucking top of that city is, wherever his district is. He's at war with them. This is nonsense. Yes, it's gibberish.
Yes. That's the question here. Look, I said it at the mic in front of Republicans this morning in conference. I don't talk about private meetings very much, so I'm not going to say what other people said. But I will tell you.
This motherfucker's always talking about private meetings. What the fuck are you talking about?
What I said.
That's the only reason I think Glenn has him on.
Which was, how on earth can we justify spending at the current level, that is last year's Nancy Pelosi levels, that 17 Republican senators joined with to pass? The rest of us opposed it. We all opposed it violently. And
I know the answer. I can tell you.
Now we're just going to vote for it again.
Yeah, I can tell you why.
You're going to vote to perpetuate it. You're going to do that for 2 years. We're going to spend and fund a DHS that is leaving our border wide open, an IRS that
no, it's not wide open.
It's expanded and going after citizens.
No. As a matter of fact, it's expanded and going after international and multinational corporations.
DOJ that is weaponized and going after the American people.
No, not the American people. Now, granted, they have very little jurisdiction over foreigners. So the DOJ is always technically, Al Capone, Ted Bundy, the Unabomber, all American citizens.
You just described an ATF that's targeting the American people.
No, they're not. The ATF is often targeted by some members of the American people, namely gun runners, you dumbass.
We're going to fund UNRWA, right, which is funding Palestinians who are at war with the people of Israel?
No, it's feeding the Palestinian refugees so we don't make more Hamas.
We're going to fund the United Nations that just voted against Israel and in favor of Hamas?
USAID.
In what universe would we do that?
Yeah, fuck USAID. Like all the food they bring to refugees, that's Glenn's job. And how's he supposed to sell his prepper shit and make like weird Christian groups pay for it so that he doesn't have to sell it on his show, make them buy it and sell it and give it to refugee groups if USAID is filling their bellies.
Not in any sane universe. Chip, go into your meeting. We'll say a prayer for you that you are filled.
No, he won't.
Filled with.
Well, he's already full of shit. Maybe you could top him off.
The right words, and you do no harm, and you can get.
Yeah, that you're talking the wrong
Get
dude.
across to the speaker and get him to do the things that he will know he needs to do.
Why does he need you to do that? If he's a man of Christ like you say he is, shouldn't he just magically know? Sometimes the Lord just tells you, take in that young black man who's the same height as you, but is only 14. Let him live in your home. Who cares if your wife's away a lot?
Thanks, Glenn. God bless you all.
God bless you.
As always.
You bet. Bye-bye.
You bet. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks for flying Glenn Beck Airlines. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Oh, God. All right. So much to cover. So much. Okay. We'll finish on this tonight because we gotta. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, my goodness. Every time I see Sean Hannity, he looks more and more like Mo from the Three Stooges fucked a thumb. And you'd be right. But this is not your normal Sean Hannity there, you son, This is sad Sean Hannity. This is upset fucking Sean Hannity of the Hannitys of Sean. Oh dear. Fucking fuckity fuck. Sean Hannity, this issue could haunt Republicans in 2024. Your face could haunt me in 2024. It probably will. Here we go.
First, we have more troubling news from the Middle East tonight. A $30 million U.S. Reaper drone was shot out over the sky over international airspace by Iranian-backed, the Houthi rebels and terrorists in Yemen.
Rebels and terrorists. If you think they're terrorists, why would you call them rebels? Why'd you just say Houthi terrorists or just the Houthis? Why say rebels? Oh, because Daily Caller wrote it that way, and you just, like Anchorman, you just read what's in front of you. By the way, these are serious issues that are about to be discussed in this clip. I have no doubt. Or, things like abortion, war, and that kind of stuff. I don't want you to get upset because I don't want you to think that this is actually a serious conversation about these things. What we're going to be talking about and discussing in terms of this clip and the entirety of the media structure around it is how blazingly ignorant and stupid and full of shit Sean Hannity is and how he delivers that shit to his viewers.
Again, we must start out by asking your Commander-in-Chief, Joe Biden, Mr. President, what are you going to do about this?
Yes. Are you even going to show up at Andrews Air Force Base when they bring the dead drone in there draped in a flag? Oh, it was a drone. I see.
Meanwhile, we have U.S. soldiers.
By the way, do you think he knows? I don't think he does. Hold on one second. How is the U.S. going to respond? Let's see. This is let's see. We'll just grab what's a good one with a lot. Here you go. What's he going to do about it? This, Sean. The Houthis don't have a bunch of those fucking things. We're not worried about them. They shot down it wasn't even a Predator drone. It was just a Reaper drone. It was just watching. Who gives a fuck? If they shot down over the fucking water. Also, I would like to say, I question whether it's actually gone. Again, Pentagon storylines, I take them with a grain of salt. Sometimes they like to pretend shit like this happened, and then that stuff does other things elsewhere. I'm just saying. But anyways, this was the response. U.S. carries out airstrikes in eastern Syria targeting IRGC and Iranian-backed groups' weapon storage facilities. 2 U.S. F-15 fighter jets conducted an airstrike on a weapon storage facility in eastern Syria. Man, I want to watch the new Top Gun again. I got it. Yeah. Used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and affiliate groups, the Pentagon announced on Wednesday. This precision self-defense strike is a response to a series of attacks against U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria by IRGC Quds Force affiliates. The president has no higher priority than the safety of U.S. personnel, and he directed today's action to make clear the United States will defend itself, its personnel, and its interests. We also, by the way, after the other hits, the 11 hits that they did, these like little fucking mini drones they were trying to fly and blow up and things and injure people. Yeah, we're basically emptying out Syria right now. We're using this as an excuse to just do airstrikes. And this is why. So and by the way, Sean knows this. Sean knows about these airstrikes. He's willfully ignoring these things so he doesn't have to balance it out.
Suffering yet another 2 attacks at bases in the Middle East today by other Iranian.
Drone attack targets Iraq's Harir base. Siren sound at U.S. Embassy. Timur Azhari. Okay. So I'm sorry. One of the things too is that these drone attacks might be because we're doing things they don't like. If you want us to do things that I suppose, hold on. I suppose Sean's answer is that we do more things that the Iranians will like, so they stop doing this. It's the response that matters, not what you. Oh, by the way, just for the record, just saying the Biden administration has been pressuring Israel for these humanitarian pauses. Israel has agreed to them, and they don't like it, but we're making them. That's also happening. That's this story posted an hour ago. Fuck Sean Hannity. Anyways, here we go.
Iranian proxies, and so far there have been 42 attacks against our U.S. soldiers.
Dear God.
Carried out by Iranian-linked terrorists in the past month alone.
So what Sean Hannity wants us to do is nuke Iran.
Now, Joe's response was to take out 2 small empty warehouses, and just hours ago, apparently.
Oh, they're empty, Sean. How do you know they're empty? They're small empty warehouses. Have you been there? Were you on the phone with someone nearby when it happened? Do you know someone that stores weapons in the area?
Only another, quote, small retaliatory U.S. airstrike against whatever assets they hit in Syria. We'll find out sometime in the next day or two.
Nothing. Obviously, these were small, empty warehouses. That's what you just told us, and I have no reason not to believe you.
That's it? Joe Biden he's not going to.
What are they going to do? Just murder a bunch of random strangers in another country? So the Houthis shoot down a drone, which is not a human being. It's a piece of gear, whatever. They're meant for that. And we blow up their weapons areas, which the idea that what do you think? They don't guard their weapons and their ammo? There's no people around that are going to die because of this. Secondly, what would you precisely want to do? So a small group of people fly, like I said, a drone into a base with a grenade attached, trying to do these like little like mini hits. So you want fighters to cross into Iranian territory and blow up a facility? Is that what you want? Fucking say it. I think that a proportional response and the destruction of their capabilities is smarter because you don't tend to make more enemies that way, and they can't, even the people who are there and see the destruction can't blame you on a personal level for blowing up the weapons, because you're not blowing up like a village with fighters in it. You're just destroying the storage sites. And so it has value on what it destroys and what it doesn't destroy.
Take any substantial action to prevent further attacks against American troops abroad?
Yes, well, I think it's a little hard to attack if you have nothing to attack with. So hence, hitting the actual ammo is a big part of that. Also, name it, man. Stop being such a fucking wuss. Call it out, Sean Hannity, tough guy. Who do you want him to kill? Who do you want him to murder? Bring it up. So do we hit a civilian site? I mean, he's hitting military sites inside these countries. So what do you want to do? Have him hit a village inside Iran? Just, yeah? Call it out. I mean, I want to hear it. You guys want to hear it? Good Lord.
Is he going to just, keep on bombing empty warehouses? Because think about this.
No, he's going to bomb ammo storage facilities and weapon storage facilities. And where the fuck are you getting this empty warehouse shit? Because this sounds like propaganda, my bro.
You know, if China, they have all these hostile actions against American fighters.
Thank you, Lucky. It is true. We have a lot of members in here tonight. I appreciate that. Thank you. And Georgina says riding with Biden 2024. Thank you. Also Venmo and super chats and stuff. And thank you guys for the likes and stuff. Look at you, lovely people. Look at this. Look at that. Way to like the stream. Come on.
Jets.
Yeah, Sean doesn't just want people to die. Sean wants strangers far away from the site of this shit happening to die, so that more people can continue to cascade die through this. And he can't even name the fucking place.
In international airspace, no response. China takes hostile actions against our Navy in international waters. Well, Joe gives no response. China's spy balloon, what happened? It got to fly eight days over our country, over our military installations. No response.
No, we watched it, we blocked it, and then we shot it down when it was over the water in case it was filled with COVID-21.
China's hostile actions over Taiwan and their airspace, no response.
We sent in more Marines and we have given them more military aid. What do you think the AUKUS agreement was about, dumbass? Why do you think Japan joined it? No response. What do you want him to do? You want him to put a flag sticking out of the water on top of all of our nuclear submarines that are doing laps around Taiwan, you dumb motherfucker?
Russia shoots down our drones, no response.
Our drone was in a war zone over their territorial waters in the Black Sea. It drifted over in their area and they shot it down because they're paranoid assholes. Yeah, what's the response, dummy? What's the response? And by the way, there has been a response. We gave more aid to Ukraine, and Ukraine is kicking their ass.
Is it because Joe wants more, what, financial business deals with China and Russia?
Asshole, no one wants more deals with China and Russia right now. No one.
That he won't take action against these hostiles?
It's a good thought, though. Why don't they do it? Also, I appreciate the oldies but a goodie ones, and I have to say, like, the fact that 4 of these fucking balloons flew over the United States during Trump doesn't seem to bother you at all, and he did nothing. And he took $15 million out of a Chinese bank account that he had over there while he was fucking president. And while Biden's been president, China's economy has been taking a giant shit. And Russia's also fucked. You know what? Maybe this is all part of the Biden fire sale. That's what he's going to do. He's going to make money in China and Russia after they've been reduced to rubble.
Regimes? Or is he just a pathetically weak U.S. president? We'll let you answer. Now, meanwhile, back at home, anti-Semitism, it is exploding. I never thought I'd see this in our lifetime. Did anyone ever think this?
Did anybody ever think that? Did I do this? I mean, there was sort of some harbingers of it when, Kanye brought that dude to lunch with Trump. I don't feel like saying his name. And they hung out,
Never thought I would see this in our lifetime, including in the halls of Congress. This as Jewish Americans are now still being held hostage by terrorists in a war zone. And by the way, Joe, why are you not demanding the release of all of these hostages, including Americans that are being held hostage?
Because you got to negotiate for their release, not demand them, because they will cut their heads off just to say fuck you. They are being held by people who plan to die soon. You have no bully leverage in this situation, fuckwad. None. And by the way, if you want to get them killed, that's one of the best ways to do it. You release those people right fucking now, or you're done. Like, okay, well, we're done anyways. Fuck you. Allah Akbar, boom.
Hostage. Where is your president tonight? I'm sure he's sleeping. I'm sure he doesn't know that today is Wednesday. And as anti-American sentiment is on the rise and the threat of terrorism is now spiking, is Joe Biden going to do anything to secure our southern border? Is he going to do anything at all? because we now know the Department of Homeland Security, there's Alejandro Mayorkas.
There he is, the guy with the fucking foreign-sounding name. You can't have a fucking border run by a guy with a foreign-sounding name like Mayorkas.
Mayorkas testified today. He has no idea at all how many illegal immigrants are currently in our country, or where they're from, or why they're here.
Nobody does. It's an unknowable. There's no hard number. There's a ballpark 11 million figure that's been around since the fucking 80s.
We know what?
We know a bunch of them work at Mar-a-Lago. We know a bunch of them work at Doral.
Thousands from countries like Iran, Syria, other places in the Middle East.
Yeah, Qatar, Azerbaijan,
Russia, China. Joe has let in almost 8 million illegal immigrants. It may be 10 million by the end of the year.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. I mean, you know what? Let him keep the number. I'll tell you what. Fuck it. I'm tired of arguing it. It's ridiculous, but let's go with, I'm going to go with Trump's number. 15, 20 million. 25 million illegal immigrants crossing the border, living in and amongst us and around us, and most of them fucking gainfully employed like assholes.
This is insanity.
Well, I mean, it's your show. Yeah.
And it's just another horrible, chaotic day under President Joe Biden. But according
horrible, chaotic day. Yeah. First of all, Sean couldn't find his tie. It looked everywhere. All they had was non-dairy creamer, the powdery stuff, which is fine for the staff, but not for Sean. And then have you seen his audience that they got today? This is terrible. He can't even find real fans. They have to hand stuff out in Times Square to get people in there. And it's like 30 seats. It shouldn't be hard. But he doesn't have any friends. And
in last night's election results, Americans seem pretty unfazed, at least on the surface.
Yes, unfazed. Americans seem to like what Biden is doing, and Democrats, and think Republicans are full of shit and don't know how to do their job.
We're going to break all of this down. Let's start in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Yeah.
Where state Democrats were able to hold on to a slim majority in the Senate there.
Spin much?
And pick up a slim majority in the House of Delegates.
So they basically neutered Youngkin.
Now, some are trying to blame Governor Glenn Youngkin.
No. I just don't. It's not that you blame him. It's that he can't win.
And his expansive get out the vote effort. Here's the reality.
Why would they blame him for his expansive get out? Because more Democrats voted. The more you get out the vote, the more people vote, the more Democrats vote, because there are more Democrats than I see.
Virginia, whether you want to believe it or not,
I don't believe it.
I had given up on Virginia years ago. It is a blue state. It's not even a purple state. The anomaly in Virginia happened 2 years ago when Glenn Youngkin won the governorship there, and he deserves a ton of credit for trying as hard as.
Yeah, you know, look, he was born to lose, and he took over a state that doesn't even like him, and they just, fucked around and found out. By the way, yes, Carl Frisch, one school board chair. Thank you guys for that donated, by the way, for the fundraiser that I did for him that we live streamed. That was lovely and very helpful, and we're very proud of him, and it's lovely. Yeah. The idea is that the argument seems to be here from Sean Hannity that this was a losing proposition to start with.
He did to flip both houses. And as the federal government, by the way, is expanding at a rapid pace, hordes of government workers, the vast majority, 90+%, Democrat, relocating just south of D.C. into Northern Virginia, where taxes are low, schools are better, and crime is relatively low.
No, asshole. They also moved to Maryland just over the border, too. It's suburbs. D.C. is in Virginia, for fuck's sake. It's just separated out.
And unfortunately, the vast majority of government workers, they're Democrats, so are most of the employees.
Yeah, there's a thread line between Democrats and people who want government to work.
At the NGOs, the law firms, and other groups associated with the government. So Virginia was close because of Youngkin's popularity. It's a blue state. In spite of what the media is telling, what a huge victory. This is bad for Glenn Youngkin. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Basically, you have a bunch of voters that experimented with the idea of leaning the state red and went, take it back. Fuck it.
The fact that Glenn Youngkin won, frankly, is a miracle. The fact that he won by the large margin he did was another miracle.
It's almost as if there was voter fraud and Donald Trump made sure of it and it leaned red and he still lost. I mean, honestly, that kind of thing doesn't happen.
Shows what the failure of Democrats can do. Can awaken people, at least temporarily.
Temporarily. Yeah. And then what's the excuse the other way around? The failure of Republicans awakens Democrats permanently because it was blue before and it'll go back to being blue?
Anyway, but once again, we do have to talk about the issue of abortion. It was a
we do.
Major issue yesterday. And I do believe deeply in the sanctity of life. I'm pro-life. I'm very open about it. But I also recognize a political truth and reality, and that...
Yeah, that, you know what? Fuck these babies. Even though I think they're living things, and I really, really believe that, you got to win some offices, and it's not a winning thing. So I will, instead of standing by my convictions, I would rather win a Republican majority so we can get those fucking tax breaks, bitches. That's what we want.
That is that the majority of the American people, as I have been saying for years, people said yesterday, Sean Hannity finally admitted. No, Sean Hannity's been saying it for years.
Don't talk about yourself in the third person. Hal Sparks hates that.
That now the consensus in this country, a few years now I've been saying, Americans reject the most restrictive abortion laws. They just do.
Yeah, they also reject any abortion laws put forward by the right because they're lying about even the tepid ones, and eventually they want to come for contraception as well because this is about controlling women. It has nothing to do with the sanctity of life.
Now,
or you motherfuckers would be against the death penalty, for shit's sake.
Okay, so people can disagree with me.
Yes, many people do. People who think you should have worn a tie. You're getting a little Jim Jordan there, Sean, and you've got the little wisp in your hair up there, and it's distracting. I think everybody knows you took a nap in your office before the show tonight, and you're just not yourself.
But now they especially reject it if these restrictions target early pregnancies under 15 weeks. That's the political reality.
Yeah. That's a big part of it. Yes, during the part where most women have abortions, where you go after them so they can't have any abortions. It's weird that they really respond to that.
I'm not giving you my personal view. I'm telling you where the consensus of the country is.
Yeah, I'm telling you that America is evil, and we can't stop it. So if you can't abort them, join them.
Even in the state of Ohio, a very red state now, 57% of voters there approved a measure adding abortion rights to the state constitution.
Look at the crumple of his fucking face. To the Constitution. Gee, Mr. Withers, all we were trying to do was make some bacon sandwiches, and we spilled the grease on the floor and the cabin burned down. I blame Petey. Right, Buckwheat? All right.
And Democrats now are using abortion as a political weapon.
No. No, we're not. We just actually believe women should have the right to make those decisions. And that left to make those decisions, most of them, I would argue all of them, will make the decision within a humane window in the early part of it, or only if they have to not die if it's later. We just don't think of women as these fucking evil monsters that you do that will stab knitting needles into their fucking bellies rather than carry a baby to term for no fucking reason other than they're just tired of it in month 8. The fuck out of here.
Not only do they accuse Republicans every 2 and 4 years of being racist, sexist, misogynist.
Well, no, we don't. That's not fair. We don't accuse you of it. We point out when you are.
Homophobic, xenophobic, Islam.
And by the way, I don't think you're homophobic. I think you're a bigot.
Homophobic, wanting dirty air, wanting dirty water. And
That might be true, though. I mean, I certainly know Trump has his own issues with that.
Don't touch my hands because they're dirty.
Wanting to kill grandma and grandpa. Now they're saying that Republicans will end all abortion.
No, we don't think you want to kill them. We think you don't care if they die. Yeah, I think there's a distinction. I don't think it's murder one. I think it's depraved indifference. I'd go with second-degree manslaughter.
Which is a lie. And the problem has been Republicans have not countered that false narrative and that lie. Now, but
that's because it's not a lie, and they have nothing to counter with because they actually want to go further. And by the way, if they even try to moderate their position, if they really did feel that way, their own base, which wants them to go further and is totally out of step, will kill them. They won't reelect them. They won't even get the moderating steps they want.
By the way, this even played a pretty big role in deep red Kentucky, where a very popular Democratic governor who totally distanced himself from Joe Biden.
No, he just ran with him on infrastructure.
Painted his opponent, Daniel Cameron, as a heartless anti-woman zealot.
Well, he didn't paint him as that. He just kind of pointed at him and said, these traits that he's showing you amount to a heartless anti-woman zealot. And I think he would agree. I think he would use different language than I do to describe it, but that's what he is.
Republicans need to spend dollar for dollar. Every lie the Democrats tell, you must fight back with ads telling people the truth.
That's right. Tell them you don't want to stop women from having abortions. You only want the 15-week thing, and you will sign a contract with America that says you're not coming after contraception. You don't believe in, if a woman who has an ectopic pregnancy or is in danger of losing her life, you don't believe in forcing her to carry that to term. You don't believe in forcing couples with a non-viable fetus to watch the mother give birth to it, sit there and watch it suffocate for 10 minutes when they knew 8 weeks ago or 10 weeks ago that it was not going to be able to live, and they could have had a therapeutic abortion and saved themselves the grief. They got to make them buy a little car. You'll sign a contract that says you will not do that. And you run that at the beginning of all your ads when you're running for office next time and say, I'm Jerkwater Jenkins and I approve this message.
Over the past 2 election cycles, Republicans rarely responded to any of these attacks.
Because if they did, they either had to admit the attacks were true, or they had to risk losing their voter base.
Especially on abortion, they need to start responding.
Yeah, start responding. Tell them how you don't give a shit about abortion. You're fine with whatever the consensus is. See how well that works out in the primary.
But tonight, it is clear they must fight back. They need a coherent strategy to counter the abortion narrative or the abortion lie.
Okay, the problem you have is that you can't counter the narrative and quote unquote the lie if you're trying to implement the policy. There is no counter to this narrative.
Or this issue will haunt them.
Oh, it's going to.
In 2024 and beyond.
And beyond.
Republicans also need to buy into early voting and
they don't. Not with Trump at the top of the ticket.
Legal ballot harvesting.
And what? Sorry, and legal ballot harvesting?
They can't show up on Election Day down by hundreds of thousands of votes and expect to win.
Yes, they also can't, weeks after the election, be down by hundreds of thousands of votes and still expect to win, and that expectation drives them to attack the fucking Capitol.
In a perfect world, there would be just one election day, make it a national holiday.
Oh, hey, look at that. Accidental progress. What was that, Sean Hannity? What'd you say? A national holiday? What did you go? Now, again, way to counter the narrative. Now, tell you what, bring on Chip Roy or any of the Freedom Caucus or any of those folks and talk to them, have them buy into this national holiday business. I'm for it. Fucking call it George Washington Day, motherfuckers. The dude who got in office and then after he was president, refused to stay on because he didn't want to be a king. And you just, well, call it Washington Day, you dumbass. I'm for it. And then while you're at it, pass a law that guarantees every American an ID. Yeah, a national ID that's good for voting. It's got your picture on it. Maybe even stores your thumbprint. And if anybody tries to use it, it's a federal offense. So nobody can steal it from you and use it to steal your identity and all kinds of shit. And it's great. And it's got your Social Security information on it. So if you ever need to get Social Security benefits, you just run the fucking thing, and you can. You're the only one who can get a copy of it. And the minute if you lose it or anything happens to it, or destroyed in a fire, you can go get another one immediately. They print it for you right there, using your thumbprint, your eye scan or some shit, and then you get it, and you can live your life with it. You don't need a state ID or a driver's license or anything else. And you can use it to vote, and it's really you. And I'm sorry, what? It's the mark of the beast, and Revelation says that you can't buy or sell anything without my mark, and that's what a government ID would be. Okay. And you can't make it a national holiday. Why? Because of the loss of business revenue. I see. Well, aren't businesses supposed to give people time off to go vote? Yeah.
Ballots, voter ID, signature verification.
Signature verification.
Chain of custody controls, updated voter rolls, partisan observers watching the vote and watching the vote counting. And if we had all of that, guess what? We would add integrity to our election system. And
we already have integrity. We have people trying to push in anti-integrity narrative. You'll like that word. To excuse themselves from losing because they don't have the testicular or ovarian fortitude to admit when they win or lose legitimately.
Everybody can have confidence in the result of elections.
We're good. All right.
Is not the world that we're living in.
No, that's not the world you're living in. You're in a weird little bubble. You're a silly, silly person.
And by the way, Republicans that have been reluctant and resistant to voting early and by mail, they need to adapt. They need to organize.
So fuck Donald Trump. Okay, you should write him a letter.
And they need to beat Democrats at their own game. Hey.
Yeah, the problem is you need more Republicans to actually do that. Because if you try to beat us at our own game, our game is, I guess, outpopulating you? Yeah? What a jackass. Ugh. All right, this is there's so much to it. Can I show you one last thing? This is a short one. This is really we don't get to cover this up, and I kind of have to because this is nuts. This is one of the it's one of those things that just gets on my that little chip on my shoulder, and I have a couple of things to show you. Well, let's go to it first. This is ladies and gentlemen, this is Diamond and Silk. Diamond is dead, and there's a picture of her, so the show can still be called Diamond and Silk. It's called Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live, even though Diamond cannot chit chat live because she is dead. She's been dead for a while. Now, the name of this episode, this is on Frank TV, where they still exist. China's infiltration of the U.S. government goes back to Jimmy Carter, is the title of this. They have a lady on, I suppose a Chinese lady. She's an Asian lady. And she apparently, and I don't need more than 2 minutes and 57 seconds to understand the truth of this, I suppose. But according to this, the Chinese infiltration goes all the way back to Jimmy Carter, took a break during Bush and Reagan, obviously ran amok during Clinton, is slowed down during Bush 2, Bush Cheney, and then obviously took off like gangbusters under Obama, and then took a break during Trump, except for that whole COVID thing, and where he was like, she's awesome, even though there's a big pandemic, but it's going to go away when the sun comes out. And then obviously during Biden, while their economy and their demography is crashing, they've made a huge comeback. Okay, so this is it. Whoa. Oh, shit. This is one of those fucking... It's got to be Chrome, you assholes. I hate that. So, I will pop it up and I could solve this in 2 months. I'm getting this shit done. Paste. Done. Enter. Go. Thank you. Pull this out. Roll this down here. Put it over here. Stretch this shit out.
Infiltrate your system.
See, there it goes. Now, here we go. This is it. We're back. Hi. Thank you. I need one of those, like, I can't use Girl from Ipanema because I'll get a copyright strike. I have no doubt. I'm going to have to write my own hold music. That's the next job. Like, with a little, like, we'll be back right after this. Kind of, yeah. I will solve this on day one. That's right. So here we go. This is Silk. Chit Chat Live. Diamond. Present in spirit. Yeah. But 2 minutes and 57 seconds of this.
Yeah, because last time I remember I was here, we were talking about how the Chinese Communist Party infiltrate your system, including...
Yeah, how did they infiltrated our system by, because in America, I don't know if you know this, Chinese people can become citizens. The fuck?
How they basically corrupt your politicians, especially not just the United States, but the politicians that elected officials from democracies, so all around the world. So
right. Well, it's I guess in the dictatorships they just kill that person and insert someone that they want.
Today, and I remember in last show I shared with you October 22nd, the Five Eye intelligence chiefs, 5 of them from 5 nations, basically got together for the very first time and had a sit-down interview on the 16 Minutes aired by NBC. So I mentioned about, and Christopher Wray, the FBI director, mentioned about the 3 steps the CCP basically usually uses to blackmail and extort someone. And
great. Yeah, just 3 steps. Set them up for me. Okay, 3 steps. Honeypot, cash, and oolong tea. That gets me every time.
Force somebody to do something, otherwise they probably wouldn't. So, and I just want to refresh your mind. The 3 steps is, the first one is basically using the dirt they gathered against you to blackmail you.
Yeah, okay, that's usually how blackmail it does work. In the case of Hunter Biden, though, you shouldn't release it all onto the internet if you're going to blackmail him later, because you can't blackmail people with shit that's common knowledge. Also, I don't know if you know this, but it's incredibly hard to blackmail comedians who haven't sexually assaulted or murdered someone. We're pretty much impervious to anything. It's pretty interesting. Actors might be a little easier, I suppose. Journalists maybe as well, but I mean, I could walk out of a brothel that was on fire, holding hands with a little person dragging a dead donkey, and people would go, "He's so crazy."
And so make you into a compliance, basically. The second is, if they can't find any dirt.
My concern is that they would make me into an appliance. I don't want to be anyone's toaster.
From you, then they try to find from your friends and everything. If they still cannot find the dirt and you're not complying to what their request, then they will concoct dirts.
Okay, so they can just make dirt up. Why don't they just jump straight to that shit?
Basically, they will destroy your reputations in court or in media or social.
I see. Yeah. What if your reputation is already shit?
Media that they control. And the third level is basically give you the ultimatum that say, if you don't do whatever I want you to do, then they will give you the death threat.
They're going to give you the death threat. Just one? Is it come in a box? Is it, because I don't want to miss it if it comes in the mail. I'm terrible with mail. It takes me a while and stuff. I mean, I got this thing in the mail from John Wick the other day, and it still got a bloody thumbprint on it. I don't know what he wants from me, but I'm good with it, whatever. But is it fancy like this? I just want to know. Yeah, because if they email it, it might go into my junk folder.
Okay, so nowadays, given the technology that the CCP is controlling, making somebody disappearing accidentally, making it look like an accident, it's super easy. And
No, it's not actually.
100% you cannot find proof to prove a murder in the court of law.
No, I think I mean, in China, yeah, they make people disappear all the time. It's a little more difficult in democracies.
So today I'm going to further your understanding and regarding the mass that Silk that you just mentioned, because we understand the globalists agenda and
the globalist agenda. I see. It's not the global list agenda where they're trying to make everyone on the globe make a list and follow it so that you're more productive.
The previous shows I shared with you a lot about WEF and the Davos meeting that held by the World Economic Forum every
year. Ava, I appreciate you being on, and Silk, I don't want to interrupt, but I gotta say, this storyline that you're telling sounds an awful lot like the CCP bait and switches, where they set up videos to make themselves look like they're against the CCP, but it's actually an anti-Western government propaganda that they're proposing. That's pretty common these days. I mean, Steve Bannon works with one of those guys, and that's actually step 4. I don't know, in the messaging, the narrative around democracies versus the CCP's narrative. That's one of the things they send out, is they send out a lovely person such as yourself to come out and try to, I'll tell you some inside stuff about what they'll do to you if you don't comply. And part of it will be you're going to be dead if you don't listen to them. And then ultimately, the second storyline is, but they get a lot done, and you can't fault them for that. And meanwhile, what has your government done for you lately?
Year in January. So today, I'm going to further share some very dark information with you. I hope you.
Dark inflammation. I had that in my shoulder, but it's a lot better.
Prepared for this, because this is truly the devil's temptation.
The devil's temptation. Well, all right.
And when Chinese Communist Party engaged with the West, I mean, in early 1971 and then later 1979, where Jimmy Carter announced the relationship, established the formal diplomatic relationship between the United States and China. Mm-hmm. What happened after that is the CCP has planning to take over the top 1% of the world.
Huh. And they did, and Jimmy Carter let them. I don't know why she ended that. There is shocking to me. I can't wait to hear more. Where can I find more clips that might help me to understand this great plan that they want to control the top 1%, with $1 billion. Yes, the plot to the Kingsman. That's right. Hey, thanks for being on, Silk, and Diamond chit chat from the other side. I just felt lied to by the title. It's a Chinese infiltration of the U.S. government goes back to Jimmy Carter. That makes it sound like that Jimmy Carter was part of the infiltration of the U.S. government by the Chinese. Not that in 1979, when he opened up diplomatic relations, they decided to take over the 1% of the world. Throw me a bone here. I'm taking over the world. Did Silk even speak? No, she did not in that clip. And that's, I think that might be the number one thing that clip had going for it. Yeah, maybe it was Jenny Carter. You're right. It could just be a mix-up. It could be a mix-up. I don't know. All I know is you gotta love the Lindell TV Frank clips. I mean, come for the bizarre, disconnected conspiracy theories that don't go anywhere, and stay for the MyPillow ads that you don't need because they're lumpy.
The lumpy pillows kiss my ass.
Oh, well, look. The truth hurts, I guess.
Asshole.
You're an asshole. No, you're an asshole.
Asshole.
No, you're an asshole.
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 Lumpy pillows, kiss my ass.
Just drop it, asshole.
Asshole.
Look, you're the asshole.
Asshole.
Fucking hell. An asshole, am I right?
Asshole.
Shut up. Rude. Anyways, it was actually Linda Carter. That's right. All right, I love you guys. I will see you in the morning. Oh, by the way, little show note for the morning, Andrea and everybody. I am going to be on Dina Obadala's show during my normal first hour of the morning show, 9 to 10 my time, because they want me on at noon. So I will be on his show, and then I will bump over and do my show a little bit later. So if you want, you can check out Dina Obadala's show. I will, I think, pretty sure we're doing it via Zoom. And if they'll let me, I'll live stream, what I can. I'll ask them. But if we have a guest in the second hour, we'll just bring them on at the top of the show, if that works, Andrea. Because I don't know who we had, if at all. Second hour start. Yeah, second hour start, basically. When my second hour usually is, that's when the show will start, if that's cool for everybody. Because I want to be on Dean Obadala's show first. That's just because they're on the East Coast. So that their noon is my 9 a.m. There you go. So hope that works out for everybody. Phil will be on Saturday. So yeah, Dean Obadala's on Sirius XM. That's right. And there you go. And so if somebody, by the way, Andrea, if somebody can't be on, if they want to be on the 10 to 11 my time, I could do a 2-hour thing after that, because I got the kind of stamina. I'm a young man. I've got prospects. All right. Love you. Admit it. You said love you back at the screen just then, people, didn't you?
Even outside, it's packed.